Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Olin, you know what I'm not a fan of?
What are you not a fan
There's
of?
a lot I'm not a fan of, to be honest with you. I am not a fan of box score watchers and having a hot sports take.
Okay.
So let me clarify.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, let me just look. We all make our opinions based on not watching every single minute of college football because we can't. So there's probably 60. No, maybe not that many. How many teams are relevant to discuss in college football?
Oh, this year, probably 30 because I think it's wide open.
Right. So I don't have the bandwidth or the time to watch 30 teams.
You're not okay. Okay.
I have the bandwidth to watch my team.
Yeah.
And then as much as I can of the teams that are going to play my team. Okay?
Okay.
So that's why I don't have this outrageous take on Indiana or Michigan State. I can say some things. And I'm not clowning on others who have these hot sports takes. But I'm going to read you something I read from Kendrick Johnson. Might be, salt of the earth, right? Might be. And I read his bio. He's an MMA writer, so he might be able to kill me. But I'm going to read you what I read from him about the A&M game. He goes, despite the win in its lofty top 10 ranking in the polls, Texas A&M doesn't look like a legitimate top 10 team in the nation as currently constructed due to its inability to dominate on both sides of the ball at the same time to produce a complete game. So my response to that is, okay, I mean, I can get down with that thinking, but I also want you to clarify. Context matters. A&M's offense threw for 207, ran for 207, got penalized for over 100 yards.
Right.
So they had over 400 yards of offense, which is typically considered good. The reason they did not score more points is because of penalties.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to say because of the penalties that have loomed the last two games, I can get down with that. But the defense is making this move, and I just think it sounds too much like you're looking at a box score. Oh, they only scored 16 against Auburn without understanding context.
Well, it's funny to me because, again, I thought A&M was more dominant, at least statistically, against Auburn than Oklahoma was.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma, after that one, the national, look how great Oklahoma is. And then it's like, A&M, they weren't, and it was well reported that Oklahoma, that one touchdown shouldn't have counted. And I think it was set up because of a punter dropping the ball.
Right.
So, whatever. I don't worry. I will say this, though. I was listening on the show on Sirius Radio that
Dusty
comes
and Danny?
on. Dusty and Danny, and they were doing their, I call it the Dirty Dozen. It's
I like
draft
that.
style.
Yeah.
And Dvorak picked A&M fourth overall. And he talked about how dominant he thought A&M was. He was saying how the score doesn't dictate that A&M was. And Danny Cannell agreed with him.
Wow.
How A&M just dominated that game. And by the way, when he put A&M fourth, I don't know if we're ready for this, but by his rankings, A&M would be the number one team in the SEC because their number one team was Ohio State, their number two team was Oregon, and their number three team was Miami.
Wow. And by the way, I know that I sound like I'm talking out of two sides of my mouth. I don't really care where people rank us or where, it doesn't matter. You got to go do it on the field.
Right.
But I do want to say this. So the line was, doesn't look like a legitimate top 10 team in the nation as currently constructed. Okay. Let's just say that's true. Let me go through some other teams in the top 10, and maybe you can tell me if they do. let's see, Bama. Bama has a loss. They didn't look great against Florida State. They look like to be on an upward trajectory, but they have a flaw. Do they not?
Yes, and then they also lost the linebacker, starting linebacker for a while. Every team, including Ohio State, has some warts.
Yeah, Texas, by the way, I don't think that people need to jump off the ship like they were doing. I also don't think you need to do cartwheels about what happened against Sam Houston State. And your only loss is to the number one team in the country. But they have some offensive questions.
Even Texas people will tell you that.
They have offensive questions, okay? Indiana is Indiana. I don't know. I think they look better than last year. I don't watch enough of them to really know, but let's be honest, it's Indiana. So yeah, I'm going to have questions.
And they had that big win over Illinois, which cost me a 3-team parlay, but then they came back against Iowa and had to squeak one out.
Penn State. People have been talking about that offense all year long. So I guess my question then to Kendrick or to anybody not Kendrick Lamar, my question to them is, they not like us. Those teams are not like us because A&M is undefeated. And A&M has its warts, and they have to fix them, no doubt about it. But if you look at the top 10, let's go 5 to 10. Those teams from 5 to 10 all have similar questions about them.
Yeah, everybody. Again, it's not like last year when you looked at it and said, okay, Ohio State or Georgia, and most of us, a lot of us said Georgia, but Ohio State, one of those two were just projected to be significantly better than most. Yeah. And then before that, it was Georgia. And before that, I think, or Michigan. There's been years where you could look at 2 or 3 teams, say one of these 2 or 3 is going to win the national championship. I don't think you have that this year.
And by the way, I'm not disagreeing with the notion that they've got to play better if they want to win a national championship. There is no doubt in my mind. But I let's use that same kind of thinking for everybody else.
I kind of hope people continue to undervalue A&M. I like the little stealth quality. Now I don't know how much stealth quality you can maintain because every time you win. In fact, I saw one of the guys in the media that consistently undervalues A&M, and sometimes he's proven right. But what was it, Bonaguro or Bonaguro?
The guy who has us at the Texas Bowl, no matter what the record is.
And he's got them all the way up to the
Texas Bowl.
No, he's got them up now. He's got them up to the whatever games in Tampa.
Okay,
playing Michigan,
the Quest Reliant Bowl.
But Schleybaugh has A&M in the playoffs. So
look, I don't know if this team's going to make the playoffs. I don't know anything.
We still got 8 games to go, maybe 9, or
Coach Elko yesterday at his press conference, he even talked about there's a lot of areas they got to get better at, right? But it feels good to be in an area where your team is getting better.
Sure appears to be. Look, if A&M gets out of their own way and takes care of that penalty issue, which I like to think that some of those penalties wouldn't get called by another crew. There were some that are like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So if A&M can reduce the penalties and maybe, not take needless chances on some play calls.
Yeah.
If they can get out of that, I think they line up with anybody in the nation with a
chance to win.
I don't even say a chance to win, with a legitimate, 50-50 shot at it.
Well, I want to see more from the defense. The defense showed me everything in the world, right?
Continue.
But I want to see multiple games of that, and I don't expect to see that level of dominance every time. Like Mississippi State, I think is going to be a different challenge. Mississippi State, by the way, as I've done my research, really good defense, at least defensive numbers.
Yeah, they
forced some turnovers.
But I do believe Tennessee moved the ball on quite.
Yeah,
I don't want to say at will, but quite consistently. Didn't Tennessee have about 430?
Yeah, and I think A&M's better than Tennessee.
I do too.
I like our quarterback more.
I like our quarterback. I hope
I like our defense more.
Now, we'll see about that. But our defense sure looked like it was, the A&M defense sure looked like it was coming around. But part of that was, again, Elko and his defensive staff just, what's the word? The phrase "play checkers." They were completely in control of that game. this is not trying to be funny or an exaggeration, but Torian York honestly seemed like he was understanding what Auburn was trying to do more than Jackson Arnold.
Yes, I felt like he was in their huddle.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they're going to do this play. Guys, boom, boom, ba, 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 cha, cha, cha.
Right. So when you're like that, which, they totally in control.
Let's hear from Coach Elko.
Let's do.
Part of the opening statement yesterday when he broke down what he saw when he put his eyes on the tape.
When we looked at the film, I think it played out exactly like we talked about it. I think defensively we played really, really well. I don't think there were a lot of things when you went back and watched the tape where you said, last year there were times where you would watch the tape and there'd be 4, 5, 6 plays where you're like, oh, thank God they didn't find him or they didn't see him. The tape was clean. I thought we did a really, really good job leveraging and defending them. I think that showed in the stats and the results. Was really proud of how we played the fourth quarter. When they got the lead, they got the score and got it down to 13-10. They never got another first down. I thought that was just a tribute to the character of the team and the group, and so that was exciting. Offensively, we moved the ball well. We were efficient. We made 15 explosive plays. We threw the ball well. We were 15 of 22. We just had too many penalties, and penalties kill drives. And we had too many penalties kill explosive plays, kill drives, kill our rhythm, and just ultimately kill our ability to score. And so it's a problem. It's something that we have to get fixed and addressed. It was a very, very strong point of our meetings this morning.
I love that guy.
Heck of a football coach. I'm loving it. I really admire all the things that they've been doing, and the issues when they address them seem to get better. So we'll see if the penalties come up better. You know what that game against Auburn reminded me of? Pat Henry's going to love this this analogy. Okay. It reminds me of like running the 400-meter hurdles. Okay.
Okay.
And you're so far better than the guys you're racing, and you're just running out, and then you hit a hurdle. You don't fall down, but you stumble and they catch up. And then you start and you hit another one. Yeah. And it's like you make the race closer than it has to be just because you're hitting a couple of hurdles that you normally just clear.
If they don't get as many penalties, I'm not going to say all the penalties, but if they don't get as many penalties, they win 30-3.
Yeah.
Or 30-10, whatever you want to call it.
Probably 30-3. Yeah. Well, we'll say 30-10 because Auburn got a penalty on their longest run. Now, it was blatant, but some SEC staffs will let it go. I mean, refereeing crews will let it go because we all saw against Auburn, Myles Garrett get tackled and not getting called. So if we're going to say, hey, give A&M the calls that maybe shouldn't have been called and cut Auburn a break. Okay, 30-10, 31-10.
By the way, we typically do this in the next segment. We're going to run through this real quick, OB, because we're against time. We got Jackie Sherrill coming up at 8:20. We've got Charean Williams, Josh Pate. We got KBTX in the house, Jamie Morrison, Gerrod Chadwell, Jordan Pugh, Coach G, and Alan Weddell in the studio. All that over the next couple hours. But let's quickly do the performance of the week. I'm going to read you 4, and then you just tell me 1 or 2 that you want. Okay? Maybe you agree with these.
Yeah.
DJ Hicks. He was mentioned yesterday by Coach Elko.
Look, that sack was, if you had feelings, it knocked him out. And he's playing well, and they need him to.
Yeah, and that was one of the question I asked Coach Elko is, what has surprised you so far? And he talked about the defensive line. Not that he was surprised he would be good, but maybe as quickly as they've gotten good. Le'Veon Moss, absolutely the man.
Moss is the boss, man.
Torian, we've talked about Torian.
Torian York.
He's a captain out there, and he was really like a vocal captain. And Des Ricks. Those are the 4 that I picked out. Des was phenomenal. Anybody else you want to add to that?
Yeah, the Immaculate Concepcion.
Oh, how did I not put him on the list?
He played great. And he even had a 10-yard punt return, which is the longest punt return that Auburn's given up. Give that punter credit. He gets a lot of hang time.
Yeah,
they don't have many punts returned.
Yeah.
And give him just a little chance. And, KC came close to breaking one. So the Immaculate Concepcion, I think he also has to be mentioned.
We'll get a couple more performers of the weeks here in a moment from McKinley, but this is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations, and right now, where are we, OB?
We are in the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
It's really, not only is it cool because I can feel the air conditioning vents, but it's just a cool air, like this comfortable, it's fun.
It's comfortable, and holistic planning is cool because what's cooler than making money?
Yeah, I agree. I think we should talk to Jackie Sherrill from here. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it works for me.
All right, let's do that. Let's say hi to Nick Savage behind the glass, who's a good person.
Howdy.
Hey.
Thought there was more coming. Sorry.
There is. I got one more to do, but I'm just kind of switching it up because why not?
Okay. Well, just a quick note. I know we got to get going here, but starting to turn the page to Mississippi State, right? We're looking at all the numbers. Their offensive numbers kind of jump out at you. They have a 63-0 win over Alcorn State, so a little bit of a skew there, right? But,
yeah.
I mean, put up good numbers against Tennessee. I watched a lot of the Arizona State games, so definitely not the Mississippi State teams we're used to, but A&M definitely, at least in the early look, should handle business.
OB, I probably told Billy incorrectly, but I feel like the schedule has gotten harder for A&M, and then maybe he kind of pushed back a little bit on that. Maybe this is a better way to phrase it. The bottom of your schedule is harder. Maybe the top has taken us a little bit of a step back. Maybe.
You know, I just think it's a challenging schedule no matter what. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, you might have early in the year said, okay, Mississippi State, just put that down as an easy W. Somebody else an easy W. Oh, but God, Texas game's going to be really tough. And, oh, South Carolina is going to be really tough. And, you know, whatever. It's LSU. You got to go there. Oh, and you're saying, well, Texas looks vulnerable. Those look vulnerable. And then Mississippi State looks pretty good. But I always say this, and you know I do, it's the SEC, baby.
You expect it to be hard.
Know, it's going to be tough. If you don't want to be tough, play intramurals.
Intramurals, brother.
Bring out your inner Dan Hawkins.
McKinley, you're laughing.
McKinley has no idea.
You have no idea what we're talking. McKinley, Polanski.
I'm laughing at the murals joke.
But it's not a joke. Okay, explain, OB.
All right, there was a coach at Colorado a few years ago.
More than a few years ago.
Okay, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. And he was talking about how parents sent him a letter saying, well, we think you're pushing the boys too much, and they're having to be involved in this extra practice. And he said, hey, he did a long speech. He says, it's the Big 12. It's college football. It's too much. Play intramurals, baby. So
that's true. It's the SEC.
Hey, Ms. Polanski, you're at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Not sure if you knew that. Do you have anything you want to add to the performance of the week?
I do. Texas A&M volleyball's Afina Kos-Okpala earned her second SEC Player of the Week honor and sixth Defensive Player of the Week award of her career, following a pair of wins in the Aggies' first two conference games. The senior recorded 15 kills, 15 blocks, and 5 aces in the two matchups.
Wow.
Deserves it.
I got to be honest. Look, I appreciate the game. I respect it. I couldn't watch it and be saying, oh, this person's having a great defensive game, unless defense is that predicated on how many blocks you get?
Not necessarily. I also think how you, I'm going to butcher the way I phrase this, but how you, like the libero. My daughter's a libero now.
Libero,
so,
yeah.
Like, you've got to, position you got to make sure you're able to attack the serve, the strike, whatever it may be, and set your teammates up. I sound like I'm a disaster here, but you can follow my point.
Right. I'm just saying.
It's more than blocks.
Good for this woman doing such a great thing. Mm-hmm. By the way, I used to drive a libero convertible.
Is that right? What else do you have for us?
Yeah.
I think you do a lot of courtesy dad laughs for us. You're like, these guys are really old
funny.
and not that funny.
Y'all are funny. Y'all
okay.
make me laugh.
Funny looking? Funny how?
Do I amuse you? Funny like a clown?
Going back on volleyball.
Hold on. I can't let that slide without explaining. Explain, OB.
Have you ever seen the movie Goodfellas?
No.
That's your assignment. But you can't do Social Center again until you've seen Goodfellas, and then you'll understand.
I'll
funny
watch
like a clown.
Will you?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I want to be back on Social Center, so
I don't think he makes the calls.
I know.
Go ahead.
Okay. Going back on volleyball, Texas A&M volleyball is ranked number 9 in the AVCA rankings after week 1 of SEC play. The Aggies head out on the road this week as they face South Carolina in Columbia Wednesday, October 1st, with first serve set for 6 p.m.
Good stuff. We are late for Coach Jackie Sherrill, so let's talk to Jackie Sherrill. I got an idea, and this is actually something. This is going to sound like a bit. I think we can make this happen.
Yeah.
Jackie, RC, Nuño, OB, 1775.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And we're just chatting away football.
Great barbecue, great coaches.
Oh, my gosh.
Legendary barbecue, legendary coaches.
Heck, yeah.
Successful coaches, successful barbecue.
Yeah. Semi-successful columnist, semi-successful talk show host.
What do you think they would order? Would they go for the succulent brisket? Would they go for the jalapeno cheese?
Yes. I mean, the sampler.
The sampler.
I just spit everywhere.
Get it all.
Yeah, you just get it all. And I think I'm gonna be nice. They'll each get their own queso mac and cheese.
Yeah, well, you're picking up the tab.
Yeah, I am. Miss E. Jade, we're gonna have to put a little help on that one. I'm just kidding. It's 1775. Check out the website 1775txbbq.com. Call them up 979-492-6241.
Like those coaches, it's legendary.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
You know, I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
TexAgs Live, we're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We're about to go to the Buc-ee's Catering and Bartending Hotline. One thing that I am very disappointed about, the cake challenge on Thursday, OB.
Yeah.
Because I had so much cake, I wasn't able to take advantage of the Buc-ee's wings and everything was out. I was a little. I mean, I had some celery. I had a wing or two.
Of course, you had some celery.
It was it cleansed the palate. But that was what I was disappointed about. So
did they pay up?
Not yet, but I'm not worried about it. It's coming. Don't worry. I did what I had to do. You know who pays up every time you text him is Jackie Sherrill.
Yeah.
And he's joining us here on the Buc-ee's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Coach Sherrill, good morning, sir. How are you? Coach Sherrill?
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Hi, sir. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Who's running your board today?
Pablo. Pablo's been working hard. He's a little tired. How are you, sir? What's going on with you?
Well, I'm here in Wimberley and getting ready to get in the car and come that way.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you here for the big game. I guess I'll start things off with how impressed have you been from what you've seen from the Aggies in 4 weeks of games?
Well, I've been very impressed. You know, when you look at football, and certainly teams and Elko coach has done a great job of getting the players prepared. But there's one thing the players have to do themselves, and that's learn how to win. And that's been very evident that they're learning how to win, but they're also when Elko threw the chair at Notre Dame, then I think that sent a message as well. Yeah, he's done an excellent job.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, and what as a coach now, when you have a team that just came from behind to beat Notre Dame and then dominated a game, even though they didn't have the everywhere except the scoreboard against Auburn. What's the message then the next week to make sure they continue on an upper trajectory? And I'm going to ask you this also: how easy is it, or is it easy at all, when you've had a lot of a tendency to have a lot of penalties to get that fixed?
Well, probably the best thing as a coach is you tell the players there's different types of penalties. If it's an aggressive penalty, that means you're going full speed and you get a penalty. I don't think you can say anything to the player. But on the dumb penalties, the silly penalties, they need to be on the bench with you, because the silly penalties are focus. The aggressive penalties, that means the player's going full speed and things happen. So there's two ways to handle them. One, you don't say anything. But two, if it's a silly or a dumb penalty, they come to the sideline and stand with you.
Coach Sherrill, what does this matchup mean to you, considering your time there at Mississippi State and obviously your love for the Aggies?
Well, you have to understand, people ask all the time, and I'm very blunt, it's the players, it's not the place.
Right.
And as you know, A&M is very special. It's different. It's a different school. And the school itself goes down to every student. But when you see the corps, you see the band, and you see all the traditions, that makes A&M very, very special. But to a coach, it's his players, and that's number one.
Coach, when a team is successful, I know every game there's never anything guaranteed, but some of your better teams, did you ever have a feel that you just knew that they were going to be able to go out and have a great chance to win? And when do you know? And what are the signals that, hey, we just didn't win a game, or win a big game. We didn't have a good day. We're a really good team. How do you? I said because A&M's 4-0, and do you ever, when you have a successful team, do you ever get a sense of what you look for to know that it's not just a good start, but it's going to be a good year?
Well, it's how the players practice. It's how they go into the meetings, how they listen, how they prepare. And, there's 4 things that I've always said a coach does. And that's 1, prepare his team mentally and physically, practice them very, very hard. Practice has got to be harder than the games. If they're not, then you may not win many games. But you also have to put the players in the right positions. And the most important is get out of the way and let them perform. And you kind of know during practice how they're performing, how they're going after each other. In practice, even though they're teammates, even though they're dating buddies and good friends, that doesn't mean they don't go after each other in practice.
Coach Sherrill, just last thing for you. Marcel Reed and his growth this year. What have you seen?
Well, I've been very impressed, but, there's all parts to an offensive team. Same thing as defensive team. But when you look at a quarterback, does he have the protection that he needs? The A&M's offensive line is excellent with a lot of depth. You look at the impressive things are the receivers, tight ends, but also there's a pretty good group of running backs, especially the one that's toting the ball the most. So offensively, he has weapons, which makes his job a lot easier. And when he gets in trouble, there are people that can help him out and make plays, makes that moves the chains on 3rd down on big plays.
That is the great Jackie Sherrill. Coach Sherrill, we'll see you this weekend at Kyle Field. Thanks so much for making some time for us.
You guys have fun.
All right,
thank you,
Coach.
sir. Coach Sherrill here on the Puppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Love that guy.
Have you ever shake hands with that guy?
Yeah,
Shake hands with
it'll
him.
crush you.
It's got hands like a vice.
Yeah.
I just have vices, but he has hands like a vice.
Yeah, I can get down with that. By the way, we're still at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. One more, Charean, when we do it from
Heck
here?
yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it from here. Right now, I'm talking about my buddy Stephen McGee and his good people there at Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. When it comes to your money, your peace of mind, it all starts with the right team. And, of course, I'm talking about Paragon Financial Advisors, an independent fiduciary serving clients across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, a CPA, and their expertise does run deep. And at Paragon, credentials matter, and so does your future. Visit them at Paragon-ADV or call them up, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Yeah. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Still hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. OB, let's talk to our favorite, Charean Williams, on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. You can catch her great work at Pro Football Talk. And, of course, you can catch her being a Hall of Famer all around town.
Yeah. Everywhere she goes, she's a Hall of Famer.
She is. Charean, good morning.
Well, good morning. Y'all are my favorites, too.
Well,
Glad to be here.
Well, isn't it more fun to talk when the Aggies are winning?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Charean, before I replaced you at the Eagle, after you went on to bigger and better things and gave me an opportunity, you covered some of the best A&M teams ever. So do you get is there anything about what you're seeing from this A&M team now that's making you, think about some of those teams you covered? And, do you see anything, any similarities?
Yeah, no question. A&M should have won, we all know, by at least 20. I mean, it shouldn't have been in doubt at the end, okay? Things to improve on, and I think that's exciting. I think there's optimism about that. And this is a game that in every other year, the past 20, 25, 30 years, A&M probably would have lost this game. There's absolutely no doubt. I had no doubt they were going to win this. Even after the interception was returned, I'm like, well, Auburn can't move the ball. I don't see them winning this game. We're still going to win. It's not going to be like it should be, but we're still going to win this game. So I think that's the exciting part, is that you won it, and you can be so much better. Even with all the yards, you can be so much better than what you were. The penalties, everything else, it's fixable. And so you don't turn the ball over. You don't commit as many penalties. There's going to be penalties, but you don't commit as many penalties. Then this is going to be a truly special team in A&M history. There's no doubt about that.
Sure. And one of the things that is giving me more optimism and I'm excited about is that this team can beat you by outscoring you and winning a shootout. They can also beat you by just, at least what we saw this past weekend, a defense. Talk a little bit about that, the multiple ways that A&M now can attack a team, which I think makes them more of a game plan oriented team as opposed to having to only do it one way.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you've got some weapons back there in the return game, too, that we saw KC early in the year. I think it was the first game, return that punt for a touchdown, so he's dangerous back there as well. But, yeah, I think that's the good thing about him is you don't see a whole lot of teams in college football who can be good on offense and good on defense, and that's, to me, what makes this team special. A lot of teams are really good on offense. They're going to be hard to stop, but you have a chance to outscore them. A lot of teams are good on defense. I think Texas is that way right now. Texas may have the best defense in the country, but are they going to be able to score enough points to beat you? You don't know that. Like, they're just not good enough offensively. And I think that's what A&M has going for them. They may not be the best in the country on offense or defense, but they're so good on both that they can beat you either way. And so, I think that's the exciting thing about this team is however you need us to win, we can win that way. And you can just see the confidence and the faith and everything else just growing week by week by week. So just need to keep that going and keep that belief going, and this team could go a long way.
But is there any element to a football team that you look at A&M and you have a little bit more concerned than other where you think, I think they can do some great things, but I'm a little bit apprehensive about this? Or are you completely all in with your chips at the middle of the table?
Well, I think it's the penalties. You can't continue to hurt yourself and expect to overcome the penalties. Look, you're going to have holding calls. You're going to have, defensive holding. You're going to have defensive pass interference. You're going to have those types of plays within plays. It's the pre-snap stuff and it's the post-snap stuff that you've got to get rid of. You have to be a more disciplined team. They aren't a disciplined team right now. And if that's the one area that they should focus on, that's it right now. don't do the stupid stuff. You knew going into this game that the officials were going to call everything against you. You knew that, or you should have known that. And they did. And it was the 15-yard penalties, I think, to me, that drove me batty. Just don't do that stuff. Play the game, get off the field. And Cassius Howell, frankly, should have had a taunting penalty on one of the sacks. He stepped right over the top of the quarterback. I saw it penalized Sunday. In the NFL, that's a penalty. Probably in college football, a lot of times, that's a penalty. There's just some stuff that you cannot do that they're going to be looking for. And just play the game to the whistle, and then celebrate with your teammates. That's fine. Don't do anything to the other team. It's just dumb stuff. So it hurting themselves. To me, that's the only way they're going to lose. Missing field goals, having penalties. Those were long field goals I get, but should make 1 out of 2 of those. One of them was less than 50 yards. Those types of things. I think the only way they lose is if they beat themselves. If you look at the schedule, every team on their schedule is beatable. I'm not going to say they're going to be easy. I'm not going to say they're going to win them all. Those teams are beatable if you don't beat yourself.
Charean, let's talk about the Texans figuring it out, or maybe the Titans just aren't that good, or both.
Yeah, I watched that game. I just think the Titans aren't very good. It's kind of disappointing that, Cam Ward, I think he could be a good quarterback, but he's going to be just like a lot of these quarterbacks who are going to change head coaches, change offensive systems, change offensive coordinators. And it's just really unfair to the player that they don't get an opportunity to stay in the same system, stay with the same play caller for more than 1 year. You're basically starting over again. He's going to get some experience, but he's going to be in a learning phase again in the off season. This team is just really, really bad. They may be historically bad. I mean, they're just not good. They may not win a game. I don't know. That was just a poor performance. But Texas did what they needed to do. They went in there and won. And again, every time you win, that gives you a little bit more confidence. All right, we can do this. We can win. So hopefully that gets this team going to get them to where they need to be offensively. They just got to get better offensively. I mean, that's the bottom line. They've got to be able to move the ball better than what they have so far this year.
Hey, Charean, what did that Sunday night game tell you about the Dallas Cowboys? What do you take from that?
Well, I think it was a lot better than any of us anticipated, that's for sure. Offensively, I think it's just what we were talking about, that A&M can win offensively or defensively. The Cowboys are going to have to win offensively. They have no defense. They're going to give up big plays. They're going to give up a lot of yards. They're going to give up a lot of touchdowns. They're going to have to outscore teams, and I think Dak's playing as well as any quarterback in the NFL right now. But it's going to take him to be perfect, and he has been, frankly. He was in that game. It's going to take him being perfect for them to have a chance. But if he can do that and they can be aggressive on offense by going for it on fourth downs and doing some other things, then I think they have a chance. And, I really think I'm going to find this out later this week. And I wish I had asked LaFleur in his press conference about it. But I really think that Brandon Aubrey's leg had the Packers playing scared at the end of the game. And it's why they settled for the tie, which they did. They settled for the tie rather than going for the win. As I think they were scared of leaving too much time on the clock for Brandon Aubrey to kick a 70-yard field goal on the last play. And so they were very conscious of trying to run out the time, and that time almost ran out on them. So they've got that weapon in Brandon Aubrey, but, their defense is going to give up so many points that they've got to be aggressive in some situations and bypass the field goal and go for it maybe a little bit more on fourth down. Be Dan Campbell, the Dan Campbell mentality. That's what we're going to start calling it.
Charean, let's go through Aggies in the NFL, and something tells me one of the guys who played last night might be on the list.
Well, yeah, and it was just really not a good week, and so I was thinking, okay, well, it's either going to be Aaron Glenn or hopefully the guys on the Dolphins do something. Well, the guys on the Dolphins did something, thankfully. So the third one is a little bit hard. There was really no great performances by anybody, all defensive players. We'll give honorable mentions to Edrin Cooper, Antonio Johnson, Bobby Brown, and Miles Garrett. Miles could be on there every single week. I think this is the first week I don't have him in the top 3, but we're going to give it to Shamar Turner. Played 38 snaps for the Bears. Played pretty darn well. 2 tackles, a tackle for loss. So he's coming around, and I think he's going to end up having a big season as he gets going. Just missed a ton of time with that ankle injury. Number 2, Tyrell Dodson. He had 9 tackles, a sack. He forced the fumble. Miami recovered 2 tackles for loss. Big night for Tyrell Dodson. He played really well last night. And number 1, as you guessed, Devon Achane, 20 carries, 99 yards. Too bad he didn't get 100. And a touchdown and had a couple of receptions, but didn't get many yards as a receiver. And so good for the Dolphins. They got their first win.
Charean, great stuff. Oh, we'll see you soon, all right?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That was an awkward ending.
Well,
All right.
We'll probably see her Saturday night.
That's what I was going to say,
She'll
but then
come
I
on
want to
down
assume, and she's got to work Sunday as well, so.
Yeah, but, she's such a big Aggie fan.
Yeah, she'll be here.
Yeah.
All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, I don't know, we'll have like 2 minutes. Rollo Insurance, you'll get a personalized agent with a direct number when you deal with them. That's what you want. You don't want to call these automated tree systems and you're like waiting on hold and press 2 to speak to somebody who speaks English. Okay, 2, boom. Now type in your birthday. Boom, type in your social. Haha, we got. No, you don't do that. With Rollo Insurance, you get somebody who's going to answer your phone calls and can put you in the right insurance situation. Morgan's my guy. I know he's got a lot of the folks that work at TexAgs. He'll take great care of you, as does everybody at Rollo Insurance, because Jason Jackson and the guys, that's what they specialize is being, small town, hometown. They take care of all of Texas and, of course, around the country. You can visit them at rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance.
All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And on a busy week, and I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals to make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them. 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables.
As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza. And, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. TexAgs Live, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go to the angle. By the way, we're still at the whole. We've never done a full hour of this.
We've just.
It's just comfortable. It's just like two guys chatting.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed
Bartles
to be.
and James just waiting on the patio.
We thank you for your support.
See, she
has
laughs.
no
She
idea.
has no clue. I love it. I love it. So apparently, McKinley Polanski, you're getting text messages about the great film that is Goodfellas.
Yes. I've never watched it. My dad just told me to watch it.
Yeah, it's got
Just texted me.
what? Two of the greatest actors of all time.
Well, it's got Ray Liotta. It's got
He's
Robert
good.
De Niro.
Great.
It's got
Well,
Joe Pesci.
Yeah, I've kind of soured a little bit on.
So have I.
But I love Joe Pesci.
Yeah, he's great.
I think if we remade that movie in TexAgs personalities,
Yeah.
who would Olin be?
I don't know.
You're not Maury the Wigs guy, are you?
No, I'd probably be the guy that ends up hanging in the ice.
Okay.
That dead guy. I don't know. Who am I?
Would I be Joe Pesci?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because I think
beat up everybody.
Yeah. Not anymore. I've turned the page. Lucci would definitely be De Niro.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Zane is
Pauly.
Spider.
Pauly.
Right?
Oh, Zane's definitely Spider.
Yeah,
Spider Zane.
Yeah. Who else is there? Is there anybody else?
Yeah, there's plenty. We're running out of time, so
Johnny Two Times. The papers.
Get the papers.
She has no clue. She's like, what are they talking
She's
about?
going to know after she watches it.
she is.
After her dad told her to.
I bet you Josh Pate has watched Goodfellas a few times. We'll ask him that at some point. I don't know if we'll ask him that.
He
We'll ask him.
probably watches it while he curls.
By the way, you're a good fella.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a few.
And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program. In a few minutes, we'll have Josh Pate on the show. Huddle up for tailgate season is here, and there's no better place to gear up than Academy Sports and Outdoors. If you want a grill that says, my barbecue is just as good as my smack talk, we've got you. A cooler that screams, I hold 47 cans and keep my cool, even in overtime. We've got that as well. And fan gear that says, I score more style points than a football spinning, back flipping, funky chicken touchdown dance. Academy's got that at undefeatable prices because here, the fun can't lose. I think I delivered that paragraph with a lot of zest and joyful, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center as we wait for Josh Pate. I'm sure we got a text or two to get into.
We do. Owen in Brenham said,
Hey, Owen.
Hey, Owen. He said, I know the team is taking it one game at a time, but which of the next 4 SEC games concerns us the most?
Say the last part again. What part of the what?
I know the team is taking it one game at a time, but which of the next 4 SEC games concerns us the most?
Okay. If you've listened to the show while I've been the host, you know that I worry about every game ever. Doesn't matter who it is. But if we're specifically talking about the next 4, well, LSU, right? Because LSU is the 4th one on that list, I believe. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at the next 3. Okay? Because LSU concerns me because they haven't won in Baton Rouge since, literally since what was it? 93 was it last time? So it's been a long time, since the 90s. Since, George Bush was president. That's the truth. It's been that long. So I will say this. I'll say Florida concerns me the most. I have a lot more. I think Mississippi State is a lot better than I expected and might end up being, they are going to be the better team, it looks like. That being said, the talent that Florida has, I believe, can beat you if you have a kind of game like you had against Auburn, where you have a lot of penalties. I think if A&M plays sound football against Mississippi State, they win. Okay? Any of those teams that you play, if you make a bunch of mistakes, you can lose because all these SEC games come down to a play or two. But if you're asking me who I worry about the most, right now it's Florida. And I'm sure somebody will clip it and give it to Mississippi State fans. I'm concerned about Mississippi State.
Right.
But I'm saying if you line up the rosters, who worries me the most? Who's got the more dynamic quarterback when good? Blake Shapen's had a much better year than DJ Lagway. Taylor Green's had a fantastic year. I just don't think that defense is going to be able to stop A&M's offense. I think Mississippi State's defense can make it hard, and I think their offense can make it hard. I think Florida, if they figure it out, would anybody be surprised if Florida beats Texas this weekend? I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
Do I expect it to happen? No, I don't. I did before the season started. Anyway, let's get to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. My friend with a smile on his face is Josh Pate. Josh, how are you, buddy?
Look at that. Look at that smile, David. Things must be great in our world, huh? You got to win over Auburn?
Yeah.
I was looking at it. It was one of those things where this is often the case. I'm at another game, so I don't know what's happening. All I know is the ribbon board up here in the stadium continues to tell me it's a low-scoring game. It's 13-3. Hey, good for A&M. If you don't give up any, you don't have to score many. But I kept on thinking about the TexAgs board because I knew no one wins low-scoring games without some complaints.
Yeah.
And so A&M wins a low-scoring game. Mike Elko has to point out the gloominess in the post-game press conference. But what I looked at is I can't watch that score. I can't watch that game without having the Notre Dame game in the back of my mind. So what I think about is, wow, so it's not even October yet, and I've watched them win a shootout, and then I've watched them drag someone into quicksand, and they've won both games and kind of, I won't say looked comfortable, but looked at ease, like in their element, doing it both ways. That's just something to tuck away, because rarely do I see teams go to the playoff or have success in the playoff where you look back at their track record and every game looked the same. Now, you could have a team that plays consistently and wins 8 of their games and loses 4 of their games, but the good ones are the ones that can mold their style into whichever kind of fight is presented to them. That's, to me, much harder to do, and that may go back to what you and I were talking about in August, I think even July at Media Days, is how malleable, how flexible, how multiple is the team? How many different tools do you have in the bag? Because that matters in December. If you're going to play in December, that stuff matters.
I want to have a conversation with you about something that came up on the show. I know I've asked you this before, but I would like for you to present how you take in all these games again, because it's based on something I read. I read somebody saying, A&M, doesn't look like a real top 10 team because they haven't been able to put offense and defense together at the same time. And my response to that is, well, actually, to me, it's actually a confidence booster because they've proven that they can play offense. They've proven now that they can play defense. And, oh, by the way, the last 5 teams in the top 10 have flaws too. Georgia hasn't put together a complete offensive game and a complete defensive game. Alabama lost early. Now they look great again. Texas has had some issues offensively. Maybe they figured it out. Maybe they haven't. So I feel like all these teams are a bit flawed. And so I just don't want people to box score and determine, A&M's offense was terrible. Actually, they doubled up what Auburn did. They moved the ball. They just were bad with penalties.
I would ask, what are you trying to accomplish? Just anyone. Let's just pretend that was you if you're watching right now. A&M hasn't put a full complementary game together. Okay, let's say I agree with you. What are you trying to accomplish? What is your stated goal? My guess is they're going to say they want to win the SEC, go to the playoff, win a national championship. Things that happen in December and January, in other words. So it's September 30th today. So I would ask you, if you're trying to accomplish that goal, what do you think lends itself to accomplishing that more? A steady upward trajectory? Ascending throughout the season, adding layers to your profile throughout the season, or do you want to be the hottest team in September? Because I think about our national champion last year, losing 2 games. And I think about how different they looked in December than they did in the regular season. Now, I'm sure they would love to have just slaughtered everyone in September and October. Obviously, everyone wants to do that every game. What's more preferable? If you asked Ohio State folks, would you go back and change any of that? Actually, some of them may answer the Michigan game, but broad strokes, they wouldn't change anything because it helped them peak at the right time. When you go talk to Mike Elko in the spring, they don't have a plan that they lay out to peak in September. They have a plan, and I'm talking about nutrition, I'm talking about strength and conditioning, I'm talking about the reps they do or don't give their guys in practice, the workload, the GPS monitoring. All that stuff is tailored with a potential 16 or 17 game season in mind. And so they are working to peak at the right time. So I would just say, I understand in the moment, you want to sit there and click on all cylinders, 10 out of 10 every category. That's not realistic because the other team's allowed to try too, by the way. Like, I don't know that people fully appreciate that was a desperate, against the wall, wounded animal Auburn team in their last week. History tells you that A&M loses that kind of game because history tells you those desperate teams that are top 15 talent-wise just find a way to win. They didn't find a way to win. And you also, there's something else to be said, David, for playing the game as it comes to you. You see Auburn. You know they're not going to score 20 plus on you unless you let them. So the only path to Auburn really doing that is you giving them the ball Saturday. So what kind of game should you call? What kind of game should you play? Every time someone complains about that stuff, I'm okay listening to it, but I always ask, what is your goal? What is your goal? And oftentimes it takes them a lot longer to answer it than it should. The goal is to win, and they won. So they accomplished what I thought was the goal.
They did accomplish that. Any takeaways from this defense that, look, I know OU's defense is salty. I know that. A&M's defense, I think, topped what OU did against the same Auburn team. Now, there could be multiple reasons. Some people are saying that they did a copycat. I don't think they did a copycat. I just think it was the best Mike Elko coached and Jay Bateman coached team of this regime that we've seen, because we've seen worse teams and talent move the ball more. It's like they all figured it out, Josh.
Yeah, I think that goes back to what anyone talks about when they talk about year 2. They always get excited. Oh, man, it's year 2. It's year 2. Well, it's like almost that is just something to fill the time in spring and summer. That's something to put on the bio card at SEC Media Days. But then I don't think people look for that enough in the season. I think the whole year 1 to year 2 benefit, if you will, was on display Saturday. That's kind of what you're talking about. And I don't really care if you did copycat what Oklahoma did. For all I care, good. Success left clues all over the place from what Oklahoma did. So, yeah, I don't even care if you did. But if you didn't, then I would look at that. I would go right back to what I just said. Yes, you just played to win the game. It became pretty obvious pretty early. A&M's defense is here to play today. Matchup-wise, doesn't look like they're throwing a whole lot at us that confuses us. And so at that point, you kind of know what you need. Now, if I'm doing it from a predictive standpoint, it became obvious pretty quick. Jackson Arnold's not going to beat us throwing the ball, and their guy's open. I mean, it's just he not good. Not a good experiment, a failed experiment. So then maybe if I do want to be glass half empty, maybe if I want to look at it more from a coach's point of view, an analytical point of view, what could a better quarterback have done against us? Were there a bunch of points to be had that were left on the field because they didn't execute? Or are we really just that good? Are we going to affect every quarterback that much? What happens if we face a saltier offensive line and we can't affect them? That kind of stuff, okay. Yes, you will face better teams. You'll face better O-lines. Probably won't face many better receiving cores. You may face a quarterback capable of getting them the ball. But I agree with you. That's just a bunch of year two stuff. It's just a bunch of things looking the way they should look, which people don't want to give credit for, except I would advise you, look around the country at how much should be and is not, and then learn to appreciate when you have things happening the way they should.
Josh, I'm going to give you a Nuñoism. They make fun of me when I do. It is, but it isn't. So I'm going to lay it out for you. A&M's schedule is harder, but it isn't. And here's my point. The teams that we expected to be easier wins, Mississippi State's a team. Like, that's not a guarantee anymore. I think that South Carolina has kind of come back to earth. I think Texas is a little more vulnerable than I expected. I think LSU is a little bit more vulnerable than I expected. So I look at the schedule, and I'm like, going to those places is still going to be super hard. Missouri's better than I expected at this point. South Carolina taking a step back. Florida taking a step back, but they got enough talent to beat you. So I look at it, and especially with Mississippi State coming up, it's very manageable, and especially in a very interesting SEC. So where do you kind of see things when it comes to what A&M's path to getting to Atlanta?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm not distracted. Yeah, so there's a bye week there. You're right. I see what you're saying about this. It also it should set up, if you're taking care of business, to where you realize how important it was to do what you did at Notre Dame. It's not a conference game, but when you win those games, like it sounds so common sense that I think people overlook it sometimes. You won the game. It's important that you won the game. Why is that? Well, twofold. Number one, you want to win the game. Number two, think about the wiggle room that gives you down the road. All of a sudden, you freed yourself up, where I'm looking at this and I don't see any game that A&M can't compete in that, quote unquote, shouldn't win. And if an odds maker was looking at that, they would say, yeah, the game at Texas may be the only one by the time it's played that we don't favor them in. Now, I don't know what LSU is going to do. I've got my doubts about them. Maybe they get their act together. Missouri seems to play everyone at the right time. So I don't know. But the point is, what if you lose two of them? Don't want to. What if you lose two of them? Because, again, I go back to our national champ last year. They did that, and they won the national title. Now, had they lost a game early in the season, they had no wiggle room, and that Michigan loss may have buried them. Well, this is the same way. I look at A&M's schedule. Now, earmuffs if you can't handle this, but let's go glass 3/4 of the way empty for regular season for a second. What if you have some game and Lagway plays the game of his life, Napier's trying to save his job, and Florida beats you in a couple of weeks? All right, and then you're a one-loss team. And then you go to Austin and you lose 30-27, walk-off field goal. You're 10-2. It costs you a trip to Atlanta. At that point, you could be mentally incapacitated as a team, or you could be in the exact same position that Ohio State was a year ago, because that's exactly what happened to Ohio State a year ago. Now, you know me, I was not a big fan of expanding the playoff. So I hate talking like this. I don't like that those are possibilities, but they're possibilities. My point is, at that point, you look back and you say, how big was that? How big was that Notre Dame game at that point? Notre Dame may be sitting there saying, how big was that A&M loss? We're 10-2. We got no quality wins. The committee's leaving us on the outside looking in, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way. Side note, I don't think 10-2 Notre Dame gets left out in any circumstance. But you are right about this. Florida preseason, I think that's one of the best teams in the country. Well, they haven't been. Mississippi State may be playing better than them right now. At Arkansas, probably a dead program right now. At LSU, I've got my questions. Missouri, you want to play them later in the season instead of earlier because they don't have the quality of depth, and injury has more time to impact them the later in the season you play them. You get South Carolina at home, Sanford at home. Yeah, as long as you got one loss or fewer going into Austin, I think you're okay either way.
Yeah, I like the way you think. I think Ole Miss is a team that the fact that they've already played 3 conference games and they just won this past weekend, unless they do what they did last year, which is possible, lose to a Kentucky, right? Like they did last year. I don't even know who's left on their schedule. I think they're a playoff team. Am I speaking too early, Josh?
No, I actually agree with you. I think there's a weird thing that happened with them last year, and that the worst thing that could have occurred is they had a soft start to their schedule and they had expectations. So you had a bunch of people, me included, who thought they were a playoff team, who said, hey, if you don't make the playoff here, this is a failure. And it just got baked into the consciousness of the team. And they kept looking ahead, like they kept looking and almost as if they had a preseason. And then Kentucky comes in and they lose the game. And then they realize, oh, that's not a preseason game. That counts. And they were just in there was a gear that team I thought should have been able to hit that they didn't hit consistently enough. Then you fast forward to this year, and it looks like they're playing with an awareness of that. It looks like they're playing with an understanding, and also I think it helps in a twisted way that your quarterback got hurt, because then it's an all hands on deck approach. And everybody, like every hair on your neck standing up, your antennas up, and you're on guard, and you're kind of like a caged animal, and nothing's sneaking up on you at that point. And I don't know if you watched the LSU game like I did. I looked at it and said, I can't believe this game's even that close. Like, you got penalized 14 times, which made the game closer than it really should have been. They thoroughly outplayed and outcoached LSU. So now, I mean, what do they have? They go to Georgia in a few weeks. I'm more worried about Georgia in that situation than I am Ole Miss, because, again, they're going to have wiggle room as well. I would be surprised if they're not in the playoff. As we sit here about to get into October, that's my stance on Ole Miss. I'd be surprised if they don't make the playoff.
Josh, great stuff as always, my friend. Thanks so much for time.
Appreciate it, David.
Later, buddy. That is Josh Pate here on TexAgs Live. Thanks to our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. We'll come back, chit-chat a little KBTX. Aaron Patterson will be in studio, chit-chat a little bit about everything happening that happened against the Auburn team and is going to happen against Mississippi State. Right now, we're talking about your personal family legacy, and you do that with the great people at Heritage Films. By the way, they sponsor the No Layups podcast. If you didn't listen to it yesterday, it's up on TexAgs.com. We had Bob Sturm from 1310 The Ticket. It's a wonderful conversation. Hopefully you'll check it out. But Chance wanted to be, by the way, Chance is friends with Bob Sturm. He's friends with Raheel. He's friends with everybody. He's great. He does documentaries. And if you haven't thought about giving your family a documentary, if you've heard me talk about it, like, yeah, maybe one day, don't wait. I'm telling you guys, like, as you guys know, we had tragedy in our family over the week. Like, tomorrow's not promised. And if there's a part of your family story that needs to be told, have Chance McClain and his team do it. They do these awesome 2-hour documentaries. And I know it's going to be very therapeutic for your family. Be great for the future generations to know what you are talking about and what your family is all about. Check out the website, yourheritagefilm.com. yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas Maroon and Gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, "Yeah, Dad, you look pretty good today." From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. As a reminder, all 3 hours of this show are now on the CW by KBTX, so we appreciate that. Aaron Patterson from KBTX joining us to talk a little bit about how the things have been going this season. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So, kind of a reset from 2 weeks ago. She likes Alabama. She doesn't like Auburn. She is starting to like a little bit about A&M. So, good weekend for you.
Yeah. You know what? It wasn't a bad weekend. You know, it was obviously fun to see Auburn lose, but that's the Alabama in me. And then it was just good to see A&M from a journalist standpoint, watching them play and beat an Auburn team. That's obviously very exciting to watch. And then, of course, I got to watch Alabama take down the Bulldogs, which is always a nice thing to see. Kirby Smart 1-7 against Alabama. So that's always a nice little record to have.
So next year A&M will play Bama. And,
yes.
So when I did local television, people were like, but you're an Aggie. I believe you can put a hat on and not be a fan in a segment. Do you agree?
I don't know. I think I go back and forth with it because we actually had this conversation very recently where at my old station, you know, I was covering U of A a lot, and obviously it's a big basketball town, all of that stuff. And I love college basketball, and I loved U of A, but I more wanted U of A to do well for almost like selfish reasons.
Sure,
it's like, okay, if U of A does well, then that means I get to do cool things. So that's kind of where I fall on the spectrum of if I like the team or not. But for the most part, I just try to stay as neutral as possible.
Well, like,
unless they're playing Alabama, then there might be a little bit.
so I'm going to give you two stories because, like, when I worked at 13 in Houston, sometimes Texas would have to lead the news, the University of Texas, and I would get emails like, "Hey, what are you doing with?" Like, I could do a Texas story with the same kind of vigor that I could do an A&M story. That being said, 2012 A&M Alabama, okay, with Johnny's game. I was on the set as the game ended, and I was a little extra excited. So I do understand, like, you can get caught up in the emotions. What were your takeaways from the Auburn game, though?
I mean, definitely the defense was lights out. I mean, there's no way that you can sit and watch that game and not say that they were the star of the show. And offense took a lot of penalties, which is something we were talking about earlier. But it's something that I said after the game when we were doing our little recap, is that I think when you have a team that could click so well together offensively and defensively, it's usually that's when you start to see penalties kind of wrap up. You see it with Alabama a lot, right? They're always strong on both sides of the ball, but you see penalties come in here and there that kind of deflate that. But I think A&M, if they are able to eliminate those penalties and that offense and defense clicks together, you're going to see a completely different team.
Yeah, the fact that they won a street fight, the fact that they won a shootout, the fact that the defense has stepped up, to me, just bodes well for the rest of that schedule.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Auburn was a really tough test to open up the season because Auburn had all of these preseason rankings and even headed into the matchup against A&M. I don't believe they were favored to win, but I do know that it was going to be a dogfight no matter what. And for A&M to come out and hold that insane offensive line and that insane wide receiver group running back group to 1 rushing yard in the first quarter is absolutely insane.
Well, I mean, I think I go back to, like, people sometimes like to take away from A&M because it's A&M. Well, Auburn's not that good. Auburn, while I agree Jackson Arnold has some major issues, and if your quarterback is not good, that's going to affect your offense. Camp Coleman went crazy on this team last year,
I know.
right? Like, and they were running the ball on everybody. So give a little credit to what this defensive staff was able to do.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, Torian York just absolutely stood out. It was funny. I was on the phone with a friend of mine after the game, and they had watched a little bit of the A&M game because they were looking for me on the sidelines, but they had turned on the game right as it was one of Torian York's sacks. I don't know which one it was. And they were like, "Did you see that insane sack?" I'm like, "Which one are you talking about?" Because there were a couple. So I think he was definitely my defensive player to watch during that game, that's for sure.
And I'm going to give you another one, Des Ricks. How about the performance he had?
Yeah. I mean, just that entire D line really, really stepped up. And what was really cool to see about it is that in the press conference afterwards, when you had, Marcel Reed come in and Le'Veon Moss and all of them, they couldn't stop talking about the defense.
Right.
And so that's always cool to see because I feel like sometimes it's an internal battle of like, oh, who's going to have a better game, O-line or D-line? But it's really cool to see A&M just come together where it's like if defense has a good game, well, okay, we're going to be right behind them. It's like, hey, they had a good game.
Well, remember, people were like, A&M can't run the ball. I mean, come on. Like, Le'Veon Moss he's still Le'Veon Moss.
Exactly. Yeah, that was, from the offensive side, that was something that I said leading into the game because I think that it had been kind of the topic of conversation surrounding the offense headed into each matchup, especially after UTSA. It's like, okay, we figured out Marcel can throw the ball. We got some wide receivers that can do their thing. Now are we going to start to see the run game? And then we continue to see the passing game and so on and so forth. And then this was really the game that they were going to need to show that run offense, and they did. So, again, I say if they can click all of those pieces together, I think it will be a completely different A&M team.
I didn't think I'd be asking you this, at this point of the season, but how dangerous is Mississippi State?
I think A&M should come out on top pretty easily with that one. Easily is maybe not the best word.
But they're better than we expected, right?
They are better than we expected for sure, but I just don't know if it has the same feel surrounding that game than A&M Auburn did.
Okay.
I think going into A&M Auburn, it was a little more up in the air of who's going to come out on top. I think A&M has kind of the wider margin.
Here's
on
why
that
I'm worried.
one.
Here's why I'm worried.
Okay.
And I don't know if worried is the right word. Here's why my attention has been raised. Their quarterback is better than Jackson Arnold.
Well,
okay?
yes.
Okay. And I think that defense is playing a lot better than I expected as well.
I think Mississippi State has played better than expectations have allowed. I just don't think, because yes, their quarterback is better than Jackson Arnold, but I don't think their entire team as a whole is as well meshed together as A&M is, as Auburn is,
Sure.
as other teams in the SEC. And I think that's where A&M is going to be able to watch film and kind of pick holes in their plan.
Takeaways from the season. You got 4 games. What have you learned about this team?
I mean, I think the stat that everyone's been talking about is 4-0 for the first time since 2016. It's not often that people get to say a stat like that, so I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a good, positive outlook. But I think something that Elko said when he was at Houston Touchdown Club was, yeah, we got off to a really great start last year, and we didn't handle it well. So I think now it's about especially getting deeper into conference play if they are able to learn from their mistakes last year and not get a big head and can continue carrying on through the season with the same poise that they have so far.
Good stuff, Aaron. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Twin Liquors, by the way, they're a Texas family-owned company since 1937. Your local home for wine, spirits, and good vibes. At Twin Liquors, they're here to help you for all the moments that matter. Take advantage or simply order online when you order at twinliquors.com or get your cocktail fixing and wine delivered with DoorDash or Favor. And they have deals of the week at Twin Liquors. Every Thursday, a fresh selection of items are offered at a fantastic price. And also, they have an excellent selection of wine and spirits, and they host in-store events. You can visit twinliquors.com/events to find those events near you. It is Twin Liquors here in the Brazos Valley.
We're talking volleyball here, but I got to finish the story with Jamie Morrison, volleyball head coach. So he was asking, well, we were talking about the cake challenge. And you asked how crappy I felt after finishing that in 2 hours.
Yeah.
I had a major sugar crash. So I would say I took like a 40-minute nap, which is not typical for me. I've a 10, 15-minute nap, sure.
Yeah.
40 to an hour, like I was out and I felt sluggish. And then I'm not trying to be David Goggins here. I went for a workout and I felt better.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to like
you
move.
You got to get that energy out. I didn't know if sugar crash you became like a cranky toddler. I didn't know what you were going for there.
I passed out. It was like, and I did feel like I feel like I look like, never mind. Nell Carter from Give Me a Break. I feel like huge at the moment. So if you know that reference.
No, I know that reference. But yeah, no, I was on Twitter. I was disappointed that wasn't the day I was here. Like,
I know.
You got to save the fun stuff.
Well, I hope we never do that again. It was not my finest moment in broadcast journalism. But I do like something you said yesterday, because I remember you shared it with us, I think a week ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. You want your team to have a sense of urgency. Yep. And since DFW, they've had a sense of urgency.
Yeah. No, I think since then, I think for the most part in practice, we've tried to create it as much as we can too. But I think every single match and the times, and again, I thanked our team yesterday after practice for this. Like every time I've asked for it, they've given it to me. So there's been, if you were, I don't know, to go back and look at our timeouts and they were to mic those up, like I would say probably 75% of them are like, hey, like this is what we're talking about right now. Like we need to create a sense of urgency and go finish this or go catch up to this. And they've responded every single time I've asked.
So talks do work, right? Like, because it's not like they don't want to try it, what they know the game plan is, but sometimes there needs to be a refocus of that part of the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, the human brain's not, I don't know, programmed to be focused for 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. Like, we're really programmed to go look to the past and look to the future. Like, and it's a survival mechanism. It's like, look to the future to find threats, look to the past to learn from stuff that's happened. So we got to train our brain to kind of be here, be present, have a sense of urgency of this moment right now. And I think for all of us, like, that's not just, I don't know, 18 to 22-year-old players. That's a 45-year-old coach at times. Like, I need to remind myself to take a breath in the middle of a match and be focused on the thing that has to be there. So, yeah, I think that, and again, not every team will respond to that. And the thing I'm proud about mine is just they are.
Since we last had you on the show, you had Missouri and Vandy. Vandy, you told me they were going to be scrappy, very scrappy. Missouri's a really good program. What did you see from your team in those battles?
Yeah, I think we won in some different ways. I think we talked in the Missouri match before getting in there, just that they're going to be a team that, I don't know, gets the ball up continuously and sends us free balls. And in the past, that's really frustrated us. And it was, like, I don't know, to a T, how we described it, it happened in the first 8 points. And it was just like they were getting balls up, and we never got frustrated. Mm-hmm. And if you look at that match, I think it was one of those things where it was like it might take us 5 times to get a kill, and it wasn't, I don't know, a normal, like we're a really efficient, like pass, set, kill team. And we didn't let that be our identity. We won in a different way that night, which was really cool. And I don't know, I remember looking up the scoreboard, and we have this team stats up there, and like we hit 207, they hit 047, and that's not how we've been winning. And we found, we knew we were going to have to win that way. Like we talked about it beforehand, and they were okay with it. And then the Vandy match, I thought we came out, and I think the one thing kind of a parallel between the two is we've really been working on our service game. And I think it really showed this weekend. And we were able to make both of those teams really uncomfortable the entire night. And I thought that happened in the Vanderbilt game, and we took advantage of those opportunities. I thought we followed the game plan to a T. We held them to a little bit higher of an efficiency than Missouri did, but then our offense just took off in the middle of that match. And, I think those are the things. And again, finding different ways to win on different nights, depending on who we're playing.
I feel like I can ask you this every week, copy and paste the question, but just how about the week of Fenna had?
Yeah, no, you can't. And again, like the interesting thing is, I was bringing this up when we ended up getting on the phone with the producers of whoever's going to do the match and run SEC Network on Wednesday. So we're talking with them, and I can't remember. Maybe they were talking about Logan, and then it was like, all right, like the next 2 weeks, if you watch the next 2 matches, it's the Fenna, and then if you rewind 2 matches, it was probably Kendall, and 2 matches before that was Emily. Like, yeah, we have different ways to kill you. And that's the sign of a really, good volleyball team is, like, if you're going to take something away, we have somebody else. But also, like, if somebody has a bad night, there's somebody to come pick them up. But, like, this last 2 matches was a Fenna. And just, I remember getting to the end of the first match. I think it's become, commonplace, but 10 stuff blocks in one match is hard to do. And she's making it a regular occurrence. It's happening often. And I think I remember Giovanni Guidetti, who I coached with in Turkey, he would always say, like, blocking is the thing that will elevate somebody to being an elite. And she's really, really good at that.
Well, I think it's interesting, too. We were just having the same conversation about football a few minutes ago before the segment started. Like, A&M football can beat you multiple ways, and they've done that this year. And you all are doing the exact same thing, and both are having amazing success.
No, we were talking about before it came on the air, just that it was cool to see the running game going all of a sudden. It was like, man, if you can get both of these things going, it's really hard to take both things away. And volleyball is very similar. If you can have lots of offensive options and be able to pass in a way that you can run your offense, you can be really dangerous, and we're in that spot right now. And I think that both programs are trending in the right direction towards the postseason.
Excuse the dumb question about that, but can you build a team that way, or does that develop?
You want to build a team with that end in mind.
Yeah.
But some of that's personnel driven, some of that's development driven. Like I don't know. I say this a lot to our team. Talent takes time. So some of it's you got to have the time to get people to be good enough that everybody is a well-rounded weapon that can go have a lot of offensive range. You got to be able to develop the ability to pass and run your offense. So I think you can start with the end in mind, but I think as you're getting into it, and I think we've done a good job of this over the 3 years, is understanding where our team is. In year one, it was, hey, make the NCAA tournament. In year two, it was, all right, can we make this small push? And now it's, all right, let's really truly see like how good we can be. What is the full potential of the group of people that we have in this gym right now? So I think it depends on the year a little bit. It depends on who you have. And one of my, mentors that I've had in life is Julio Velasco, who's coaching the Italian women's team now. But he would always say, like, you should have a movie of what your team can look like at the end of the year. And that movie is going to be different year by year, but you should be starting to inch towards that. And I said it before, the DFW weekend, we kind of went away from that a little bit, but now we're, I think, on track to heading towards that movie again. And I think it's a really good team that we can be. We're not there yet, but it's a really good team that we can be.
Being process-driven with a narrow mindset with the big goal in mind as well.
Yeah.
We've asked you about Logan. We've asked you about Afena. How about Maddie?
Yeah, I was in the press conference and someone was like, told me that she's number one in the country in assists per set. And I sounded surprised when I said it, but it wasn't surprised that she's number one. It's just I didn't know the statistic. And I've said it probably till I'm blue in the face. I put all these lists out at the beginning of the year, top 5 setters, top 10 setters, and she wasn't on it. And I'm like, man, like, most underrated kid in the country. And she can dish the rock at a really, really high level. And then she's just developing an all-around game right now, too. I think she's one of our best servers on our team. I think that was her probably best defensive weekend. Also this last weekend, we've been working on that piece of her game. And just she's a well-rounded volleyball player, but just the ability to run the offense. And like I said, the fact that we have all these options, she's really being smart. And I'll give Jeff, our assistant coach, that's working with our offense, credit there, too. Like, they're a tag team on it of, hey, this is open at the beginning of the match, and that might change in the middle of it. And they've done a really good job of identifying those holes as the match goes on and making sure we pick people apart.
Going on the road again, South Carolina, what challenges do they present?
They're a good volleyball team. I was just watching a little bit more of their attackers this morning. They got some arms. And, I mean, they had a pretty good record in the non-con. And I give their head coach credit. She came in really late in that and only had a piece of the spring. But I think they're playing good volleyball. So good arms, player, well-rounded game. They run a 6'2", so they have some size blocking. And you got to pick them apart. And I think in all of these, there's been like little things that you can get after. And if you get after in the match, it will be a lot easier. But we got to make sure we're dialed in and focused on the game plan is the number one thing.
I want to close out with something that you talked about yesterday, but it's since I know you so well. You looked at Reed Arena the other day. You're like, this is it. Like, this is what we've been talking about, and it's here.
Yeah.
How I don't know if fun's the right word. How comforting / like, if this is it now, just wait because we're going to keep building, right?
No, that's the thing. Like, I was like, oh, it's happening. I think the thought that I went through my head is it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I think you get to, I don't know if you've ever read the book Tipping Point, where there's tipping point where like enough people come up and they're like, man, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden they start talking and all of a sudden it grows into something huge. And I get chills as I'm saying that. I feel like we're kind of there where I think enough people, I don't know, from the 12th man that maybe haven't experienced it came and it was like, our program probably got 20 emails the next day being like, I've never been to a volleyball game. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So I just, that's, I don't know, pride. It took a lot of work, I think, and it's still going to take a lot of work. But, and I'm just, I don't know, also honored that people come and see the beauty, the fun, of the game and the environment, like both of those things. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, like, October 8th, we play Kentucky, the number 3 team in the country. It's your next chance to come and see that experience, and I'd mark that one down. And then I don't know if you know that us and TU have a rivalry.
A little bit of a rivalry, yeah, I've been told.
So I don't know if you knew this, but we set a record last year for attendance in the state of Texas, and they got a little upset, and they decided to host a match in Moody. which holds 14,500 or something like that. And I was like, oh, they're going to set a record that we can't beat because Reed they only got 10,200 people. And Reed fits more than that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 31st, too, if you want to circle that date. But I think we break that record twice, maybe once against Kentucky, once against Texas. So.
I like how you lead into this. I love it.
Yeah.
It's that rivalry. I think once you wear the maroon and white, like, you feel it more. And I mean, and you spent time there, so you know.
I spent time there. I coached in the Netherlands. I used to like the color orange, and it's just slowly fading. It just seeks in. Like,
that's not a pretty orange. Jamie, I appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir.
Pleasure.
All right, when we come back, Gerrod Chadwell will be here in the studio talk a little women's golf. By the way, Aggie Land Hydration and Injectables are Aggie owned and operated. They're a mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. Sheldon and Danny are great. They're TexAgers, and they love being in this community. So if you go to a festival, Troubadour Festival, go to concert all day, you go to your kids' sporting events, or you're yelling at Reed Arena for this volleyball team and you need a little bit more, right? You need an IV hydration to get you that boost. They'll take care of you. They'll make a cocktail specific to your needs. So if you have a busy weekend, they can ensure that you get all the necessary vitamins and minerals to make yourself feel so much better. To book an appointment or inquire about their services, call them up, 979-217-1561. That's 979-217-1561. You can text that number as well. It's Aggie Land Hydration and Injectables. Am I spicy today?
That's what I heard.
Like fighting with people? That's normal.
No, Jamie just said you're a little spicy today.
Yeah. Gerrod Chadwell in the studio. Hey, buddy.
What's happening, man?
How are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm good. So the last time we saw you, we talked a little bit about the collegiate title. Was it the
Folds of Honor?
There you go. Folds of Honor. Thank you very much.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it was September 10th-ish, September 9th-ish, around that range, right?
A lot of things have happened since then.
Yeah, in the world and in sports. How are things going?
Good. We've had 3 weeks roughly. We're in that last week before we really finish off our fall season. We leave Sunday for Albuquerque. It's a match play event that'll be televised on the Golf Channel again, like Folds of Honor was. And then, about another week at home, then we go to San Marcos for an event, and then about another week, and then we go to Waco to finish off the fall.
Okay. How are you feeling about things?
It's been great to have 3 weeks at home almost, and just kind of get everybody settled. 4 freshmen and a transfer, everything happened really fast. So it's just, we're starting now to get into rhythm. 3 weeks in the gym have been amazing with Tom, our strength coach, and just, it's just kind of, we roll the balls out and we go. So it's just now nice to work on some things that we saw in competition and just let the girls kind of be normal. Got a couple football games under their belt. And so, but I'm itching to get back on the road.
Dumb question coming. Do you care at all what rankings say?
No.
Do you notice it though?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know who our best 5 is right now. Okay. So I think that's probably indicative just to the names on the roster. And yeah, we haven't lost yet, but that's going to happen at some point. No, I'm more worried about the day-to-day and really helping these young ladies get better. And we want our best golf to be happening in March and April.
Does it feel different? Because last year, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I thought you all played well.
For sure.
Not as well as you wanted, I know. Because unless you win a national championship, it's never as well. But,
for sure.
But does it feel different this fall?
Yeah, it does, because of just what's at home. I mean, it's so competitive at home. I know we'll probably talk about it all year. I think, our qualifiers, how we determine who travels, could be just as competitive as the event we play in. So, man, I'm just thankful for that. I know that doesn't happen every year, but that just makes us so much better. And I know the young ladies will be able to look back and say, man, I had a lot of growth this year because couldn't take a day off. It was just so competitive to get on the road. And once I get on the road, now I'm prepared to play well. So it's just totally different. We have our own problems. Don't get me wrong. Like it's still challenging. We have young ladies that have, they're getting opportunities outside the program that you're just trying to manage the in and out. But it's just our story this year that's got off to a good start.
Fundraisers coming up too, right?
Big day for us, October 13th. It's the Monday after Florida home game, Columbus Day. For those that bosses won't let them off work, I know you'll help me with that. Of kind of a what's the word that they send out? A letter for kids, not a sick letter, but whatever the case.
Like what is it called? Why can't we? Come on, you're a kid.
Excused absence. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Beef.
So if we need an excused absence, Nuño, I'll help you out.
Yeah, I'll write it out.
Yeah, October 13th at Traditions. Registration's roughly at 11 o'clock. We'll get started at 1. Smoker out there, steak dinner. But the best thing about it, you truly get to meet our kids, see them in their element, truly see up and close how good they are, but also the proceeds from that day really help us get up and down the road from what our budget doesn't cover. But that's October 13th. On our website, Aggie Women's Golf Club, and we'd love to see everyone there.
To me, it makes such a difference when you get to see the personalities of the athletes that,
absolutely,
like who I cover, if I'm a fan, it makes, and this is an opportunity to get to see, get FaceTime.
Yeah, and look, not all of these young ladies are going to be able to go play golf for the rest of their life for a living. So, it's a great interview. But it's also just really get to know their story and just see their personalities. And those are just as amazing as their on the golf course talent. But it's a great day that we actually look forward to just spending time with everybody and getting to say thank you.
When do you leave for New Mexico?
We leave Sunday.
Okay.
After a Mississippi State home win.
Win, and then you'll come back in the studio when you come back?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's win another one, if you don't mind.
We're going to do our best.
I know you will. And
yes.
I feel good about this year. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Appreciate it. When we come back here on TexAgs Live, we'll talk to Jordan Pugh, get some thoughts on the defense,
Texas A&M's got a D. That's coming up next on TexAgs Live. Welcome back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. I've missed this guy. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Jordan Pugh. What's up, man?
What's going on with you, man? How you doing?
I'm okay. Thank you for the text yesterday, by the way. It meant a lot. You doing all right?
Oh, man, I'm good. Hey, a lot better. I don't wish what I had on my worst enemy, man, but I am doing good. I'm up and running again. So had my first workout this morning, so I'm kind of getting back in my groove now.
There we go.
Yep.
Were you able to take in the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I was able to watch it. Yep.
So what
we're good to go.
What's your big takeaway from it?
I'm torn.
Okay.
I'm torn. I thought we looked like a team coming off a bye week offensively. Defensively, I thought we played phenomenal. Now, there's a caveat to that. I think that Auburn is just that bad. Okay? So that's why I'm kind of torn. I think we did what we were supposed to do defensively. We dominated from start to finish, and you got to have games like that. When you're talking about a 12-game season, you're going to have games where it's gritty. You're going to have to find a way to win. And in the past, everybody talks about the battered Aggie Center, but in the past, we find a way to lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we win it. So that's what's encouraging about it, right? Even when it looked bad, even when it was gritty, it was grimy, we were letting them hang around. We found a way to close it out. I thought offensively, we missed a lot of opportunities. But the one thing that I found positive in the offensive play was the way we ran the football. I mean, we literally gutted them running the football. So I was proud of that. I love the way that our defense played overall. Des Riggs is really coming into his own at that corner position. I love the way he's playing. And I thought we took advantage of what they wanted to do offensively. But, man, when you have sluggish games like that, it was one of those games, man, where I wish I could have came on last week where I said I'd be worried about us coming off the bye week, right? I wish we could have played Notre Dame, played Auburn, then had a bye week, right? But I just think it was one of those deals where it was sluggish. But I like the fact that we found a way to win. That's what's really encouraging about this. Torian York did his thing. Torian York was the MVP of the game to me. We were explosive as usual on offense, and we found another way. We put another tool in the tool bag in order to find a way to win games. So we've won explosive games. We've won by blowout. We won by closing it out in a gritty fashion. So we're winning in all facets. That's what you want to see out of a program, man, that's making a championship run. That's what's encouraging. We still got to fix some things defensively. I think if we had a better quarterback that we played against, I think they scored 3 or 4 touchdowns based off some missed assignments. But overall, man, I was proud of the performance.
See, I'm going to push back a little bit, and here's my pushback.
Okay.
The tackling we saw, this is not the same tackling we saw last year. This is not the same tackling we saw against UTSA.
Yeah.
Like, they were on those boys, right? Like, when they got a ball, they were tackling. So, and there was one explosive play in that game, which, if you watch the replay, slow it down, it looks like, I think it was Des Rick, or Will Lee, excuse me, looks like he has a pick. And if you slow it down, he's got possession of it. Regardless, some of the things that showed up in games against teams that were inferior did not show up at all.
Well, that's the thing that was encouraging, right? Well, I told you, defensively overall, when you have an inferior opponent or inferior offense, you're supposed to look like that, right? I think we shored up a lot defensively, especially within the run game. But there were still some things in the pass game that if there was a competent quarterback, a quarterback who could read, who could be more decisive, they could have took advantage of that. And remember, everything that we're talking about is built off a standard that we're trying to accomplish. We are trying to win championships. So, yes, I'm happy with the win. But now if you put coach hat on, listen, we can't let certain things slide because better teams will take advantage of that. Now, the beautiful thing in that is we won. And when the defense had to get off the field, when they got the third downs, when they had to turn the ball over, we did that. And that's what you want to see, right? There's going to be points within the season, man, where one side of the ball is off, one side of the ball is on. You got to play complementary football in that standpoint, and we did that defensively. But yeah, man, but overall, moving forward and looking at the state of where we are, the state of the SEC, man, there's so many opportunities out there where we can win every single game, and we can win it handily. But man, being able to shore up small little things and move forward in that aspect, I think that's going to be something that they emphasize this week in practice. You could tell that we really, over the bye week, we shored up the run. We shored up the edges in the run, that people were killing us, gassing us on the edge. We shored that up. Now we need to shore up the intermediate to deep passing game. I think once we get that done, we're talking about a well-rounded defense now. Offenses, man, you're going to have games like that. You're going to have games where you're just off. It's just, for whatever reason, it's just not clicking. But, man, overall, I thought we looked a lot better defensively. We shored up a lot of things, just small little things to fix.
All right. I used to be called next year Nuño because everything is about next year. I'm right now Nuño. So I want to talk about the offense, and I will get back to defense. I don't think the offense was that bad. I think the penalties were bad, right? Like the offense, you doubled them up with 207 yards rushing, 207 yards passing. It was just penalties. If you don't get some of those back-breaking penalties, momentum-shifting penalties, I think Amari's got a 25-yard run that gets called back. Le'Veon's got his. You had some passes, some first downs. Like, you're talking about 500 yards of offense. I agree, they've got to shore it up. But I feel like once Marcel got going, the offense seemed to get going. They just shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, that's what you said two things. You said back-breaking and momentum. That's key. Like, yeah, so it's one thing to be explosive on offense, but if you have penalties that derail drives, that derail momentum, that derail flow, that's a problem against better teams. Okay. So those are the things that whenever you win, winning is the cure-all, but winning also hides other deficiencies, right? Other deficiencies that you got to point out and you got to get corrected. Now, the penalties, man, that was one of the things that drove me crazy this weekend. I'm like, every single time we had something big, it's like, what is going on with us? But from an offensive standpoint, we didn't play bad or horrible. It was just off this week. It was a rhythm. It was a timing, and the penalties had a lot to do with that, right? I think that, we got to get it a little bit better on the deep balls because we had shots that were there. Marcel just missed a few throws. That's a timing and touch issue. But when you're looking at just the small little things that keep you from winning games, those are type of situations where you can lose games based off penalties. You can lose games based off momentum shifts. And that's the thing that I guarantee you Elko's talking about in the meeting rooms, going into practice this week. We can't let those things bite us in the butt because we're the better team, moving forward with a lot of these games. But when you keep giving people chances, you keep allowing teams to hang around based off those penalties, allowing them to gain momentum, you're allowing them to stay in the game. And all you need is one play to break. And that play happened on that pick that ended up leading to a touchdown for Auburn. And it kept them, it crept them right back into the game with a one possession lead, right? So you have to try your best to eliminate those situations because the longer you let somebody hang around, all they need is one opportunity. And that one opportunity can shift everything and give you life and give you hope. And you want to cut that off right now.
Jordan, what about the defensive line that we had questions about them? And look, the sack numbers are looking good. The run ability, stopping the run, which I know goes beyond the defensive line, but like DJ Hicks is making plays. Tyler Onyedem, like you're seeing guys, you're seeing many different guys get to the backfield, stop runs. Just what have you seen?
I think I've seen a maturation over the season, and then you're just letting them play, right? Early on in the season, you're seeing, like I talked about, you saw a lot of two gaps. You saw a lot of guys that weren't just getting upfield and creating chaos. When you looked at this Auburn game, you saw a lot more chaos that was being created because guys were getting upfield, rushing, collapsing pockets, and they were taking away gaps in the run game. But when you look at what we did overall, I talked about this in the Notre Dame game. We have to earn the right to run the passer, rush the passer. So on first and second down, we were doing what we needed to do in order to get to third and long situations from a D-line perspective. And we were corralling Arnold within the run game. We kept everything in-house, and we didn't let anything break outside of any exterior runs, right? So when you look at that allowed the D-line to be able to get upfield. It allowed the D-line to be able to create chaos. It allowed Torian York to be able to run free because they were doing their job creating havoc within the offensive line of Auburn. So that's one of the things, man, you've seen the growth. And I think that bye week really helped our defense. It allowed Elko to scheme. It allowed him to be able to plan how he wanted to manipulate the offensive line based off our skill set defensively. And I think you saw that play out against Auburn.
How much better is this defense going to be now that Damian Sanford's getting all these reps? Yeah. And Scooby's coming at some point, hopefully this week, whenever we get him back. But the fact that, now you have a guy who's played a little bit, and by the way, he's not the only one who's played, right? I think Jordan Lockhart's got a great future ahead of him. There's others. Yep. But the fact that Damian is playing at a high level, and you need it, and, oh, by the way, Scooby's going to be coming back.
Man, I just think it's the depth that you need. And, one thing that's hard to do, and especially in this day and age of football, is creating that depth. But it's one thing to have depth. It's one thing to have experience depth. And when you have guys go down and you have players that have to step in early within the season, that creates that experience that you need, especially when you're making a run like we're trying to make. Having guys that have the experience, that have the play time, that have been in those moments, that have been in those critical moments and factors within games, that's going to be big down the stretch. Because as the season goes, attrition is going to happen. Guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to go down. And when you know that you have guys who can step in and who can play, and there's no fall off defensively, that allows you to be as creative as you want to be as a coach. And it also allows the trust factor to play out fully. So I think that's going to be huge moving forward, just defensively. But overall, I'm talking about from a team standpoint, the depth that we've created, the playmakers that have come in and made plays while guys have been injured, that's going to be huge in this stretch run that we're trying to make overall within the season.
Jordan, excuse me for not remembering, but did you have any major injuries in your career at A&M or in the NFL?
No, nothing major.
Okay.
Nothing major. You know, minor things, small tears, this, that, and the other, but nothing that made me miss an entire season. No.
Okay. The reason I asked that is, like, you've played with guys that obviously did.
Yep.
So Le'Veon's coming back after a major knee injury. Tyreek Chappelle missed all of last year. And it's here a month into the season, and it feels like, look, I know that they were kind of ramping up Le'Veon. Tyreek has been playing since the first week, but I feel like they're starting to be the players that we remember. Like, and I never doubted them ever, right? Like, I knew there was a natural steps to get them to where they need to be. But what have you seen from them now, and how healthy they both look?
Confidence. It's one thing to be healed. It's one thing to have the rehab. It's another thing to play. And when you take that first hit, it's one of those deals where you don't want that injury to happen again, right? So as the year goes on and you're going week by week, you're building your confidence, not in your ability, just in your ability to stay healthy, because that's what you want to do. You don't want to miss out on everything that you've worked for. So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing two guys, especially in particular, we talk about Moss and Chappelle, guys that are building confidence in their own body, knowing that, yes, we can do this. We are healed. We are ready to go. And you're seeing that confidence grow, but also you're seeing it play out in their game, right? The reason why I say that is because once you know that you have the ability to play, once you know that you're healthy, once you know that everything is stable, it allows you to be free. It allows you to be free mentally, and allows you to play. What's the correct word? It allows you to play more aggressively. Really go all out without hesitation. And that's what you're seeing as these weeks go by, because each and every single week they're improving. You're seeing the old players that you saw from the previous year. And that's just the confidence in your own body. But now I can play free and do what I really want to do because I'm not worried about the injury factor.
Talking to Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live. Jordan, speaking of depth again, hopefully Bryce Anderson comes back at some point. And, you know, I know that things are trending in the right direction. It was great to see him on the sidelines at Kyle on Saturday. But Marcus Radcliffe, like, he showed us something last year. He keeps showing us stuff, man.
Well, so what is it? Brooks missed the first game, right? Dalton Brooks?
Yep.
Okay, so he had the opportunity to come in and play, right? So it's kind of with Sanford at the linebacker position where you got guys that had experience. So you're looking at the experience from last year. You're looking at him coming in. He was one of the highest rated guys at the beginning of the season, but man, he's taking advantage of his opportunity. The most exciting thing about our team and the thing that people should really look into is the depth that we've created. When you talk about last year to this year, our starters were capable of hanging with anyone. But now when you have the depth of the players on the team and guys who can step in like a Ratcliffe and come in and can play well, man, that's huge. He's taking full advantage of every single opportunity, man. He's doing his thing. He's doing a great job of filling in on runs. You can tell that he's covering up a lot of things within the pass game. I think that there's a lot of things that he's doing where, man, he's taking away a lot of options offensively based off his body position and awareness with what he's doing on the field. So he's played well, man. I think that he's been a great addition. It's going to be hard to get him off the football field for everything that he's doing defensively, just by his presence, his leadership, but his overall awareness on the field.
Just so you're aware, Jordan, I don't know if you can see my looking up in this. There's somebody on the.
I just noticed it.
Yeah, there's somebody on the roof, and I hear there must be workers, and they're like banging away on the roof, and I feel like these lights are going to come crashing on me, which I'm not trying to make a joke. That's what it sounds like. So that's why I keep looking up.
Okay,
like,
it's all good.
You know, like
making sure with no paranormal activity going on over there.
Right? Like, it just kind of worked. For a moment, I was like, well, is there an earthquake? All right, We're going to move on. And I want to talk Mississippi State because I think they're good, but I think A&M should be favored in pretty much every game the rest of the way outside. I don't know. I mean, the road games are the road games, right?
Yeah.
But just being favored against teams, I think Mississippi State's not only way better than I expected, but a team that can beat you if you don't bring it. What have you seen from Mississippi State?
Mississippi State is explosive, and that's what scares you. When you play explosive teams, we are the better football team. We are the more talented football team. It's not even a question. But when you play explosive football teams, all you need is one or two breaks, and you're in the football game. This is one of those games where you have to take away the hope, the life, the energy early out of Mississippi State. One of the things that I noticed, I was able to catch a little bit of the Tennessee game. And when you're looking at the Tennessee game, you saw a team that played inspired, but you also saw a team that knew that they were always a play away. They were a home run play away, constantly staying in the football game. So when you look at our matchup with Mississippi State this week, one of the things that I would look at if I'm Jeff Lebby is how can I create explosive plays? All right. I need 1 or 2 explosive plays a quarter. That's it. And that keeps me in the game. The next thing that I'm asking myself is what can I do in order to keep the ball in my hand with the time of possession factor? Because I know that Texas A&M's offense is explosive. I know that they can produce points at a high clip, at a high rate. So if I can keep this ball in my hand, but also create big time plays, this is how I keep myself in the game and give myself a chance to win the game. Because we know that we can't compete when it comes to the line of scrimmage. We can't compete athletically on the edges. So that's the way that they win. And this is the type of game that keeps me up at night if I'm a coach. Because we're on a roll. We've beaten Notre Dame. Everybody says we gotten over the hump with a win like that over Auburn in the battered Aggie syndrome. But now you got a Mississippi State school that's just kind of creeping around. In the past, it's always been the Mississippi schools that have halted everything that we wanted to accomplish. So now the question is, how do we keep the guys focused, knowing that we're the better football team? But is this type of game with that type of explosive offense that makes you nervous because you know that they can hit at any time, especially with the type of offense that Lebby runs?
Well, and the thing that I'm interested in is, look, they've taken on 2 of the best backs in the country, and those dudes are amazing, right? Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love. But Mississippi State's got a 1-2 combo that isn't Notre Dame, but they're pretty darn good. They're really they're better than pretty darn good.
Well, one of the things that people, I think they mix this up with Josh Heupel too a lot. When you're looking at that type of offense, they run to throw the football. Right. And when you look at the one weakness that we've had, we talked about the edge play that we've had within the run games. They're going to expose that a lot. They're going to spread the box out. They're going to force us to play at home defense, and they're going to manipulate our backers and interior safeties, our DBs, i.e. Chappelle, Ratcliffe, those type of players. Right. But they want to establish everything by the run game. And that's where that time of possession comes in. But when you look at them in the two-headed monster that they got, they have capable players. They have capable backs that open up everything else in the pass game. This is why this is one of those sneaky type games. But then you're also talking about a team that has some momentum themselves, that has some confidence themselves. They've had some key wins this year. So they believe that they can come in and win this football game. Now, how do we shore up everything that we need to shore up? How do we continue to take the momentum and build on top of that? Because one thing I know about my football team is we can win gritty and we can win big and we can win last minute. They've proven that this year. So now it's about keeping the focus. Can we keep the focus and can we limit everything that they want to do offensively, man, in order to take over this game?
That is Jordan Pugh on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Jordan, appreciate your time as always, my friend. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's do it. That is Jordan Pugh. All right, we'll hit a break. Coach G will be in studio, chit-chat a little bit about the A&M soccer season. They got Texas coming up. And after that, Coach Alan Weddell will join us for talking a little bit about the defense as well, just like Jordan did. We'll hit a break here, though. If your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, then you need to check out the Association of Former Students that bring Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. We're talking all the great events like All Aggie Hullabaloo, Aggie Ring Day, The Gathering. They welcome tens of thousands of guests. And there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of these attendees. And they offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. And also, this includes title sponsorship naming, on-site presence, activation and recognition in social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie Magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, choose a partner that's been with the organization for over 140 years. That is, of course, the Association of Former Students. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. Little Aggie soccer talk here on TexAgs Live. Coach G is with me. And Coach G, I want to make sure I phrase this correctly. Frustrating start to the SEC play, but also you're taking on some really, really good teams and outplaying really good teams. The ball hasn't just fallen in the net.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can look at this on every sport in the SEC. Last game we played number 2 in the RPI with Tennessee, outshoot them, and they get one half chance, and then she hits it first time, far corner, and kind of catches us there, and then we missed 3 or 4 golden opportunities. And then before that, it was we outshoot number 7 Arkansas for the night, and hold them to 1 shot, which nobody does, but we lose 1-0. So 2 1-0 losses, and then you lose by 1 on the road with just minutes left at TCU, who was number 4 at the time. So it's not like we're playing bad teams, but it's a deal where we know we are playing with these guys, and we are putting ourselves in a position to win these games. We just haven't won the games. So that's it's a learning process. If it was easy, everyone could do it. And we've got some players that are special and can they're still learning to play with each other and get things done. But it's time to get it done, and no better time than this week when Texas comes to town.
How are you feeling about your defense?
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would put the way that we defend, which is the whole team, but I would put the way that we defend up against anyone, because we are going up against anyone and really shutting them down and keeping them from being able to do the things they really like to do. So I do feel really good about it. One of the keys for the game on Thursday when Longhorns come to town is they've got two really special players, and their system is about getting the ball to those two special players. And we've got to make sure that we don't just kind of get isolated in space against those guys, because they're really good. And so it's just a matter of our team defending has got to continue, but now it's got to go all the way through the team to how we transition, how we get into the attack, how we finish off our chances. Because we've had great sessions so far this week, and I feel good about it. Hopefully we get a good crowd. I don't know if anyone at Texas A&M has any kind of feelings about the school in Austin, but if you do, come on over and help us to express those feelings on Thursday at 7:00.
Can you remind the audience? I know you mentioned it yesterday at the press conference, but I love to hear it. You've done quite well against Texas in your career.
Yeah, we've done well. We I think I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think we're 22-6 against them.
I think that's good.
Yeah, that's not bad. So but we didn't win last year. So we've got to and a lot of that. It's interesting that we have a whole new team this year, which is good, because I think that last year's team psyched themselves out before the game even started, and I don't think that'll be the case this year around.
I got to imagine having such a brand new team has its challenges. What has been easier than maybe you expected? Because I know the culture and the team chemistry is amazing. And what has maybe been a little bit more challenging?
Well, the challenging part right now is scoring goals.
Yeah.
Again, now, who are we not scoring goals against? We're not scoring against teams that are in the top 5, top 6. As Arkansas is as bad as number 7 out of 351 teams. So we're putting ourselves in that position. I think the biggest thing is when things don't go exactly right. It's like, baseball. Talk to baseball guys, the most superstitious group in the world. When they're not hitting, you don't need to go for clover leaves and sacrificial chickens or anything like that. It's about just getting your process back down and getting yourself so that you are doing the things that you need to do, so when the ball is there, you can put it in play. Well, it's the same thing with us, is we've got to do the things that we've got to do in coordination and timing with the other players on the team, but we've also got to do the right things as we're striking the ball. Are we trying to knock the cover off of it? Sometimes I think we are. Are we shaping a ball? Are we doing all the nuances? Is there a toe poke that could go in there which catch a goalkeeper off guard? And just a little bit better organization of the penalty area when we're attacking the other team, because you might not get that many chances, but you want to make those chances golden.
Do you think kids today, because it's been a while since the rivalry was a rivalry, understand this A&M versus Texas rivalry?
Well, that'll be an excellent question. I think that it's kind of funny, because you look at a lot of the football game this past Saturday, great crowd, unbelievable. The fact that the place was full with minutes to go in the game is a testament to the spirit of the place. But when they show crowd shots and people are doing horns down against Auburn, I'm kind of like, okay, let's. This is our signal.
Yeah, let's do gig 'em.
And let's gig 'em, because gig 'em, by the way, is a precursor to murder. So murdering a frog.
Right.
Well, you can gig 'em on whoever you're going to go with. Now this weekend you can go ahead and turn those horns upside down if you want, but I think it's important that people understand history. I love the fact that there are whys to everything, and when new people come on campus, and again I've been on campus for a while, I would put my campus tour up with anyone on campus. I'd love to take whoever they name as the new president around and show her or him about it. And a big part of what makes those tours incredible is not going around saying, "Oh, here's a bunch of live oak trees and there's a statue of a guy and here's some pennies on a thing." Is why is that? Why are there little memorial markers around the drill field? Why is this way and why is this that way? And what were the circumstances and who were the people that had something to do with that? Well, I think that's one of the really special things about what Texas A&M is there are whys everywhere. It's not just because, hey, we saw that at a Seahawks game, we thought that was kind of cool, or we saw that at a Cowboys game, and that was kind of cool. A lot of people talk about Texas A&M needs a mascot. We have a mascot. It's an American Collie. Reveille 10 is our mascot, and there's a reason why Reveille 10 and Reveille 1 was our mascot. And a lot of those things, I think, it just means that we've got to do a better job of storytelling within the family, and then they can spread the word outside it. There's a reason why we're the biggest school in the country. Yeah. It's not because we're easy to get into online. It's because people want to come and be a part of something bigger than themselves, and they want to be something that shows that when people come together, they can do anything. And that's what we're going to need to do on Thursday. I need the people to come together, and I need my team to do something bigger than one person can do on our own.
You want to remind the audience your radio show's back?
Yeah, so we're back. So every Wednesday, Coach Elko is over at Rudy's Barbecue here in College Station. His show starts at 8:00. The precursor, the appetizer of sorts, will be the Aggie Soccer Hour is there at 6:00. So come on out. We'll have a few of our players there. We even have a few girls on the team whose parents are from that school in Austin.
Yeah,
and which is always kind of funny because how many of those parents came and said, it's not the same way as when I was there, and I love how safe this place is. I love the passion. I love how people look after each other. I love the atmosphere. This is where I want my daughter to go to school, and that's a special thing. So come on out, meet some of the players. Gerald Pena, who we call G Money, is our strength conditioning coach. If you want to come out and do some exercises with him, you can.
I do actually. Yeah.
So all that starts at 6:00, Rudy's Barbecue, and it'll also be on. We'll record it, we'll film it, and it'll be on the radio as well. So it should be a lot of fun.
Coach G, thank you.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to Alan Weddell, break down that A&M defense on the football perspective, that and much, much more. You're listening to TexAgs Live. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. My dear friend Alan Weddell here to talk about all things A&M football. And Coach Weddell, first off, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Glad to be here always.
I want to start off with linebackers. You might know a thing or two about linebackers since you coach linebackers. Torian York deserves all the attention he's getting. What to me stood out was not only the plays, how active he was. What did you see from Torian?
He's not the biggest, the strongest, or the fastest linebacker around, but he made plays.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of someone that wore number 9 about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, type stuff. He had directed the defense. He recognized formations and what was going on, and guys lined up right, and then he went and made plays. He had a great football game. And all the linebackers were playing well. You know, you lose Scooby, somebody else steps right in and makes plays. So it's the linebackers are playing well, as is, of course, the entire defense. You know, Recca comes in, next man up, here we go. You know,
yeah.
It's just there. The corners, which have been problems for years now, are lockdown people. You know, and now we've got a front 7, a front 4 that can put pressure on the quarterback. You know, and plenty of them to do it. You know, type stuff.
Well, and more on the linebackers too. Like I was worried when Scooby went out, just because how thin I thought that position was. Sanford has been fantastic. Torian has taken a big step. Jordan Lockhart's shown some things. Like the group overall has really been nice.
No, they're doing a good job between the portal and recruiting. The linebacker position is a good shape. The whole defense is. And you look at them and watching them from the sideline, they're having fun.
Yeah.
They look like a defense that's having fun. A defense that's out there flying around with their hair on fire, that's having fun. That's a dangerous defense, and that's what we have right now. It'll keep us in any game.
So Torian being as active and vocal as he was, is that something that you teach linebackers? Is that the position kind of lends itself to get players with that mentality?
First of all, he's a leader. He's a leader of the defense. That's obvious out there. But you can't make someone a leader. Leadership is developed, and he has developed through the last 3 years into that leader that's on the field. And when you're a leader on the field with a defense around you, you have a lot of confidence. So he's playing with a lot of confidence, and I think his confidence is projected in all the players in the whole defense.
Coach, I said this earlier. I don't know. I might be full of you know what. Sometimes I think when you are a defensive-minded head coach and you have a defensive-minded team, sometimes you have to play with an edge. That edge can sometimes bring some penalties, okay? And I'm okay with it. What I would like to see it is kind of like how do you control that? So from a defensive mind perspective, like, yes, let's be aggressive. Let's go after it. But it's also sometimes bring it back.
It's got to be controlled aggressiveness. Yeah. It really does. And that's where you teach that in practice. You play to the whistle echoes, but once it echoes, you stop. And you turn the switch off, get ready to play the next play. That play is over. And so you want an aggressive defense. You don't want a soft defense by any means. But a lot of the penalties have been, and I think that's the defensive coach's mentality. And that's why I love Elko so much. The last defensive coach we had was a guy named R.C. Slocum.
He's pretty good.
And I have a ring on my finger thanks to that guy, you know, type stuff. He was the best, greatest of all times. And so, but a lot of the problems have been on offense, of course. And that's what you want your offensive lineman to be aggressive and, you know, and just attack. But under controlled aggressiveness. You want the receivers to be aggressive. You want to be mentally ready. You don't want to line up in wrong and make mistakes that way too. So it's a maturity thing as much as anything, I believe.
So 2 weeks in a row of a lot of penalties.
Lots of penalties, unexcusable.
I know that Coach Elko is going to focus on that this week, but if you're coaching, how do you fix that? Just kind of, hey guys, let's focus on the moment.
Alan Weddell would have tied Green Bay there today because he'd been the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys if he could have figured that one out. That's that fine line.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the players have to come in and coach each other. You know, that's when the guy, if they're jumping in the game, they probably jumped in practice too.
Sure.
You know? And so that's got to be corrected by the players. Unacceptable. We can't do that. And the players have to get involved in that kind of stuff. It's not all that coach can, we're going to run laps or whatever if you jump off sides. That's not how, that doesn't work. It's got to be a discipline thing.
Well, then also Coach Elko said yesterday the Cabo Fund. So they're going to get fined for it.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I want to be on staff. I love Cabo. That'd be great.
Hey, I would like to be on that staff. That'd be great. I haven't been to Cabo. All right. What concerns you about Mississippi State?
First of all, the name is Mississippi. And we have had more trouble with the schools from Mississippi since we joined this conference than anything else.
Yeah.
Most years that we've lost to them, we shouldn't have lost to them, you know, type of stuff. So that's scary. Head coach Jeff Levy, Art Brow's son-in-law, runs the offense extremely well. It's a very very unique offense that you don't see a lot. It's very efficient offense. It's capable of scoring a lot of points. So from a talent standpoint, it's going to be an easy week. They're the stellar dogs of the conference and so on. But there's no stellar dogs in this conference. Even the lower half can beat the upper half any day of the week. So you got to worry. You got to come to play. And to be a championship team, and I don't care if it's high school, playing 16 games a year and so on, you got to bring your A game every week, especially when you get into conference play if you're in the Southeast Conference. Otherwise, you're going to be a 10-2 football team and you should be 12-0.
Have you ever seen, like back in the day, Big 12 days, whatever, Southwest Conference, SEC, a conference so like, I don't know who to pick. There's not a clear-cut number one.
It's that way. That's because unfortunately, that's because of the portal.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a good team. There's enough big money out there that you can buy enough players that you can have a good team. The difference comes in the depth. That's where the big boys, that's where the A&Ms, the Texas, the Ohio States come in. They've got too deep in those type of situations. So with a long season, the cream will rise to the top. When people get injured, you got people to jump in there. But no, the Southeast Conference, the Big Ten is the same way. I mean, it's that way. It's who's going to rise to the top on that certain day and play that certain game and win a championship.
How nice was it to see the Ags resort back to, and I say resort back, I should phrase it differently. Hey, we've got Le'Veon Moss, we've got Reuben Owens, we've got Amari Daniels. We could run the ball, and we will run at you. I don't care if you have a really good rush defense. We're going to get our yards.
Oh, nice. From a defensive standpoint, you got to stop the run. You got to stop the run. And when you can't stop the run, it becomes a long day on the defensive side of the ball. And you have to start doing things that you really don't want to do as far as calls, and it puts a lot of pressure on your secondary, which opens stuff. But it starts with the run. No doubt. And with we got, again, one of the best running back rooms in the conference. We have 5 offensive linemen that started last year. We are a run-first football team. And it comes better when you wear them down, smash them in the mouth. Those pretty boys on the defensive line over there, the sleek, tall, slim guys that can run real fast. When they get bloodied in their nose a few times by the fourth quarter, they kind of wonder what's happening sometimes.
At 4 games into a season, can you really know who a team is? Because it feels like A&M, we had these questions, and a lot of these questions are being answered. And it feels like the trajectory is going higher and higher. So do you have a feeling of what this team is actually capable of?
Well, looking at the talent-wise, the ceiling is unlimited. There's enough talent here to win them all. I think they probably, we were talking about this time last year. We 6-1 or something like that at one time.
7-1, yeah.
Yeah, 7-1, and then the floor came out from under us. But I think going through that last year is going to be a big positive this year. Not them have. First of all, the coaches know the players better. The players know the coaches better, and the players know each other better. And we're a more mature football team than we were last year. So I think that will see us through the entire season and get us where we want to be come Thanksgiving, day before Thanksgiving, day after Thanksgiving.
To do that, though, there's such thin margins. A game like Auburn that you dominated came down. You give up a touchdown at the end, you lose, right? So that's what is exciting about these games, and also worries the out of me.
Yeah, it's like we're 4-0 right now.
Yeah,
number 6 in the nation. What if we had not caught that pass at Notre Dame, or if they had not missed that bubble the snap on the extra point? What if our secondary had fallen down in the 6-point game the other day and they scored a late touchdown? Now we're 2-2, and everybody's screaming and yelling and coach's fault and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
It's a small margin of victory when you're playing in the Southeast Conference and you've got talent all over the field.
So what do you think the key is against Mississippi State this weekend?
Play our ball. Don't get the big head. Let's not say we're 4-0, number 6 in the nation and all that kind of stuff. Hey, we are 0-0. We're playing a conference game. They got good talent too. They've got a portables. They've got kids from Texas that can play. No, they're not as good as us, but the scoreboard says 0-0 till we do something about it.
And does their run game somewhat concern you?
Everybody's run game in the conference concerns you. You got to stop the run first.
Yeah.
And run game defensively is a mental thing as much as physical, because you get lazy, get in the wrong gap, and I can run through that hole. So it's a discipline type thing that you've got to be ready. And a lot of times when you play a team that's not as good as you, and you look at it on tape all week long, you say, this guy's not as good as me, and then you get in the game, and all of a sudden, hey, I was supposed to be in the A gap, but I ended up in the B gap along with the linebacker, and they're still running.
Yeah. Coach Weddell, you're the best. Thank you, sir.
Hey, anytime. Appreciate
you. We'll hit a break here. We'll come back with a final segment. I know McKinley Polanski's got a bunch of stuff to get into. A moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. It's the place to go when you're looking to buy a vehicle that won't break the bank. They have a great selection of vehicles there. You'll see a wide array of different types of vehicles, and if you want pre-owned, if you want brand new, and also their trade-in value is great because they're just trying to help this Brazos Valley, and it's a place to go where there's no dealer add-ons. What you see is what you pay. They're locally owned. They have an Aggie alumni team that's ready to roll out that red carpet for you. And remember, when you buy a vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet, you are getting complimentary pickup and delivery, and you're also getting free oil change for life as long as you own that vehicle. We're talking 15 minutes, the edge of Bryan, the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Final segment of the... Is my mic on? Yeah, it's on. Sorry. I love being unprofessional. Final segment of the program brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We call it TexAgs Live. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski. Look, the people have demanded that you speak because I've had a loaded show of guests. So the floor is yours. I'm going to leave and you're just going to talk.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to.
But I'm going to leave. You're going to be by yourself.
Oh.
Yeah, you're going to just do the whole segment by yourself.
Okay.
Sorry.
That was awkward. So, in case y'all forgot.
So, why'd you do this? Look, you know what you did?
I feel like I've just been sitting here for so long. I'm I'm ready to talk.
Nick, show me. I want to show what McKinley just did on camera. She was, so, you totally did that. Like, oh, no. Sorry, McKinley. Go ahead. I didn't mean the joke.
Operation Blackout this Saturday.
You're wearing black already.
I am. I'm wearing black to get ready for the game this weekend. Wear black for the game this weekend. And here's a fun fact. Every time A&M has done blackout jerseys was 2012 Texas A&M at Mississippi State. They won 38-13. 2015 Texas A&M versus South Carolina. They won 35-28. 2024 Texas A&M versus LSU. They won 38-23. And then this weekend Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. 6:30 p.m. start time. That makes me go into a text message I got. David in Franklin said, back in black, and sent a link and said the Aggies should play back in black as they come out of the tunnel this Saturday, just as a special to the blackout game, or play part of it at some time during the game.
I agree. Well, you know, we have some folks that work at TexAgs that are friends with the DJ at the game. Maybe we can also recommend that. Yeah.
Yeah, he sits down at the bottom, doesn't he?
I don't know. I just know he's famous and everybody likes him, and he's all over social media.
I see his tweets.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he is good. Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
I told you, there's a whole segment of you.
I want to highlight men's golf. I didn't get to them earlier. The number 16 Texas A&M men's golf team closed out the first day of the Ben Hogan Collegiate Invitational presented by Charles Schwab in 13th place. The Aggies teed off today at 9:30 a.m. The Aggies are paired with Arizona State and Georgia for the final round. So I'm sure we'll get an update on that soon.
I hope so. Coach Corton doing a great job. All right, folks, here's the deal. I'm not going to be with you the next few days. You'll have, I don't know who you're going to have yet. I don't even think it's decided. I know Bronny's doing a couple of shows. Maybe Zane, maybe Nick, maybe Pablo. I don't know. Somebody's going to do the show other than me. I'll be gone until Saturday. I'll be back for the tailgate show, and I'll be back, obviously, for the post-game wrap. Got to take care of some family things over the next couple of days. But we will see. Guys, the most important thing for A&M is don't beat yourself. I look at that schedule, and there's a few, like, bombs out there. If you don't beat yourself, I think you're talking about the kind of season, you know, even if you struggle on the road one or two times, if you don't beat yourself, especially this next three, I think we're talking about that special season we've all been craving since 2020, and hopefully a little bit deeper run than the 2020 season went. That is going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Tuesday. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We will see you mañana.